live.
Woo! Hello, everyone. Welcome on in to our Facecam 4K Q&A stream. We hope you guys are very excited. We did hint at that we are gonna have another stream this week. So if you guys were there during our last launch stream for Dreamscape, then here we are again, back to back.
Yep.
But for those guys who are new, welcome on in. My name is Jasmine. I'm the Senior Community Specialist over at Elgato. And today we have Phil and Sean. So, Sean, if you go ahead and introduce yourself first, and then Phil.
Hello, guys. Yep. Hello, chat. I'm the video content producer at Elgato, and we're here to talk about Facecam 4K. Very excited to do that today.
Don't sell yourself short, Sean. A lot of the incredible footage, like photos and videos that you're seeing from Facecam 4K, or rather of it, a lot of that was shot by Sean. So yeah, a big round of
Thank you.
applause to him. I'm
So,
Phil. I'm on the technical marketing team, and I'm super excited to talk about Facecam 4K. There was actually a sneak peek during, was it it wasn't Dreamscape. Which live stream was it? I think it was, where was the one that Julian was on? Because he actually had Facecam 4K on in the live stream. It was whichever one he joined on, briefly,
I believe
where
one, right?
which one?
The Prime Day one, I believe?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the
Yeah,
Prime.
it was Prime
Yeah.
Day. So I think he actually gave us a sneak peek there. So maybe someone in chat noticed, but maybe not. So yeah.
All right. With that being said, we do have a question that we're going to answer very quickly. Oh, wait, that's the wrong one. But hello, Yarito. We are doing great. Hope you're doing well too. Let me see. Here we go. So, this is a question from Vic. Are all of you using Facecam 4K right now? I am.
Yep.
I am as well. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, the
We are
answer is
all
yes. We are all currently using Facecam 4K, as you guys can see. So you guys might be wondering, what is Facecam 4K? Bill, you want to go ahead and take this question?
absolutely. Let me pull this up here real quick. Ba, 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 ba. All right, so we've got our the site up here. So Facecam 4K is the newest addition to our Elgato camera lineup. This is a 4K 60 webcam, and kind of the tagline we're using is "You've got to see it to believe it," because it really is true. The camera quality on this, or just the video quality, is so good. And so here's a quick view at a glance of what you get with Facecam 4K. So first and foremost, just ultra smooth 4K 60 video. You get HDR video, which we'll touch on all of these a little bit more in depth in a little bit, but basically it helps you with high contrast lighting. You get DSLR-like controls, so you get your pan, tilt, zooms, you got your full automatic or full manual controls there. You've got an optimized focus area, so it's a fixed focus camera. And then this is a huge one. This is the world's first webcam that supports 49 millimeter lens filters. So unlike doing something in software where you're adding kind of like color grading or effects in software, you can put a lens filter on the front of your camera and uh, then it's the real deal. So it could be a diffusion filter, it could be a starlight filter. There's lots of different ones, and we're gonna talk about all of those different ones. So yeah, this is Facecam 4K at a glance. It is just a really good high quality 4K webcam. Um, and I mean, we're all using it, so you can kind of see the quality. I should also mention that we have two YouTube videos up right now. So we have one, which is the overview video that you can watch right now. That all the A-roll for that was actually shot with Facecam 4K. And the other video that we have is the a quality showcase that Sean actually put together, where it's just a bunch of different videos of people using Facecam 4K. You might see some recognizable faces in there. You might also see some other faces. But yeah, you can check out the quality there. I already see a YouTube comment, so not real PQ HDR. No, this is camera HDR. What you're talking about is it's a different type of HDR, but again, we'll get into that. Um, so yeah, Jasmine, Sean, anything to add to that? What is Facecam 4K?
Yeah. I mean, I Facecam 4K with this camera having camera filters. That's something I'm super excited to get into. We have never had a webcam out that has the ability to put on camera filters, or just like any filter that you've seen with the DSLR cameras or I've never even heard of a webcam that can support something like a filter. So super excited to show eventually a demo video will show you guys what these filters can do. But here, see, this is what it
Oh,
looks like.
you
There we
got the
go.
box right there. Nice.
Yep. The open box I've got. So very cool.
I think like for me, if you guys didn't already know, so something that you guys should definitely know actually is that if you guys do purchase Facecam 4K, there is an add-on that is free if you purchase Facecam 4K, which will be the privacy shutter. So basically, it'll have like a little separate one. So I don't have one yet, so I need to get mine honestly. But you will have a privacy shutter if you do order it, and if you go to our website right now, you can see that when you check out, there'd be like a little add-on button on the website. Phil, would you actually be able to share screen this and like show them the checkout process? That way they can actually see it.
Absolutely. Let's take a look
Yeah.
here.
So you go to our website here. I'll go ahead and press this little command here for you guys, and you see accessories right there, right? So that's the privacy lens cap. So just gotta add in Facecam 4K to the cart and add in the privacy lens cap as well, and click add to cart, and there you go.
And yep, it
It is
will.
not an extra cost, so it is free. It will be free.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, we'll be mentioning this throughout the stream as well. But I think I think there was a question that we had for chat, right? Um, like, what camera are you using? I don't know if we actually have it set up as a poll. I should have probably thought of that ahead of time. Maybe not a poll, but
Well,
yeah.
maybe James, I know James is in our Twitch chat right now, or any mods in chat, if we could get a poll up, what
I
webcam or
guess
camera are you guys all using in chat right now?
can you make a poll out of that? Because it's more of a, well,
Oh,
obviously
wait, I guess you can't really make a poll. Yeah.
you guys are all using an Elgato camera, that much of course, right, chat? Come on. We
Of course,
understand
right?
each other
Like, this
here.
this
So,
Of course.
and if not, after today's stream, you're gonna want to get a Facecam 4K and you start using that. Uh, but okay, as I'm seeing some here, OG Facecam, very cool. Back from 2021, Facecam Mark II, dual cam setup with a Facecam, very nice. 3 OG Facecams. Oh, that okay, of course, Lady Vic. That's an insane amount. Yeah. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of Elgato in here, which is fantastic. And hey, if you're not on Elgato or if you are even on an older camera and you're looking to upgrade, well, hopefully we can answer your questions today um, and show you, why Facecam 4K is now really our best webcam. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a few questions as well. I've been seeing a lot of questions about, what's the difference between Facecam 4K and Facecam Pro. There is a command here with an amazing article on our Explorer. So, Phil, you want to actually go ahead and bring this up to show them the comparison charts between our webcams and Facecam 4K.
Yes, let's do it. So let me pull this up here and go to Elgato Explorer. If you haven't explored Elgato Explorer yet, this is what you want to do. Just look up on your search engine, on your browser, Elgato Explorer. It's this beautiful page, and our team puts in a ton of work. Shout out to James who's in chat on getting these articles out here. And, the goal with Explorer is to give you guys a little bit more in-depth information that you may not even find on the product page itself, and to give you our technical expertise and opinions as well there. So for example, here we have Facecam, everything that you need to know. This really dives into the product itself. And then we also have these comparison articles here. So of course we want to, we know you're going to have questions about, this camera versus that camera. If some of you have the original Facecam, how does it, or the Facecam Mark II, how does it compare? And so the question was, how does Facecam 4K compare to Facecam Pro? Well, we have an article here that we can just jump into. You'll see right away, it shows you information here at a glance, a table. Of course, there's kind of the critical one about price. There's max resolution frame rate, which in this case is very, very similar. There's the HDR video, there's the sensor, all of this information. And then, there's some more reading that you can do here. So this is really nice. Of course, I can also always highly suggest to watch the videos on these cameras. And so towards the bottom of the page, you can watch a video on what is Facecam Pro and then also what is Facecam 4K and take a look there. So, uh, yeah, that's the difference between Facecam 4K and Facecam Pro. Well, rather, you can go read it. We can talk about it here, but But, yeah, it's super easy to find. Just Google it or just go to Elgato Explorer. We have
There's
another
a command
one.
too that
Oh, yeah,
have
there
set
is a
as well that
command.
links directly to each of our webcams. So if you go to these links, it will say, here's Facecam 4K comparison between Facecam Pro, Facecam, and Facecam Neo. So 3 separate charts that you guys can see depending on which one you're interested in and which one you want to see, like what the difference is between the two. So all the links are directly in chat on Twitch. I know our great YouTube mod will go ahead and link that towards everyone in the YouTube chat as well. And with that
Yeah.
being said, so question for you guys. Why does
Who?
4K 60 quality matter? Whoever wants to take a question.
Well, actually, I'm gonna side with chat here, and I totally saw this as a question, but is there gonna be a giveaway? Is there a giveaway in this live
There is.
stream?
Guys, there's a giveaway. Yes, 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 yes. So we are giving away a Facecam 4K. What we're all using right now. All three of us are using Facecam 4K right now. So stay tuned for the giveaway. The keyword will be given. So the way the giveaway works is basically we give you guys a keyword, and once the giveaway is open, you type that keyword in chat, and then you only type it once. That's it, and then we'll draw the winner. So the giveaway is not live right now. You just have to stay tuned, stick around, find out, and it'll happen when it happens. And for everyone who's watching from YouTube, you guys will need to come over to our Twitch channel to enter the giveaway when it does open. Otherwise, you won't be able to enter because the giveaway is for Twitch only. So just heads up.
And yeah, we're gonna be doing absolutely normal keywords, no fun keywords this time around. It has been decreed. Um,
Okay, okay. Chat, give me the funniest keyword you think, we should use.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Awesome. All right, then. With that being said, so why does 4K 60 quality matter?
Do you wanna take that one, Sean? Right off the bat?
4K 60 quality. Yeah,
Yes, correct.
sure, I got you. Uh, what? So 4K. Actually, Phil, could you take this question?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, sorry about
So
that.
there's a no, no, hey, there's a couple different things, that make, 4K 60 important when you are creating content. One, it's just a high resolution, right? It's 4K 60 is kind of like becoming the standard when you talk about things like mobile phones, mobile phone recording, even displays on phones are reaching 4K. You can live stream to YouTube in 4K. You can live stream in 1440p to Twitch. So 4K is becoming much more important in that sense. What 4K also usually does for you, and in this case with our camera, is the camera will use a better sensor and specifically also a better image signal processor. And what that means is that not only do you get good 4K video with a high resolution, right? That's 4 times the detail of 1080p. But you also get better processing generally. So that means like color, sharpness, basically everything that goes into giving you a good image. And the other thing that is, oh, I do see that I am lagging here a little bit. Let
Oh
me,
no.
I have a fix for that. And I just need to go like this, I think. And like that. No? Okay. I
And he's like
will.
in real life.
Yeah, I'm lagging in real life. This is actually me. Of course, this happens on a live stream because why wouldn't it? Let me see
Wait, that was
here.
actually believable when you're like, this
Th-
is
uh,
actually me. Like, this, when you, that
I
was
am
actually really believable.
not leaking products. Uh,
Oh, guys,
and
I
let's
think
Okay,
see.
well,
Am I back?
oh, is he back?
there we go.
Hey, I'm back. Okay.
He's coming
We're
back.
back.
Okay.
Awesome.
Where was I? In the middle of my little spiel there. So yeah, with 4K, you get 1080p. You get 4 times the resolution of 1080p, and so that just gives you an insane amount of quality. In fact, what I can do here is now that I'm back, uh, with 4K video, I can actually zoom in and check out all that detail. It's probably too
Okay.
much detail. But yeah, check out all that detail. So we're streaming at 1080p right now, and this actually lets me zoom in a ton, and you can still see detail. Like you can see this poster behind me from Lord of the Rings. You can read, you can read it clearly there. You can see detail in my hair. That's what 4K gives you. You can zoom in, and it's going to be ultra sharp, really detailed. And then, like I was saying on the other side, the image signal processor that you have inside the camera that's dealing with that 4K video is also going to be better. And so that is part of why you want 4K. Another a reason to is like, let's say, okay, you're on video calls all day. And this kind of leads into the first and the second point. Let's say you're on video calls, or in the case of Twitch here, or just a live stream. Nice, Jasmine.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! You didn't see
Providing
nothing.
some entertainment there. Um, in the case of Twitch, right, we're or just a live stream in general, we're currently live streaming at 1080p. And even then, we're actually shrunk down a little bit more because we're just in these vertical bars. Uh, but what that means is that the camera is actually taking that really high quality video and it's basically being shrunk down. And so you're kind of fitting all that high resolution and all the data and that image quality that comes with that, and you're kind of compressing it down, if you will. And so the video that you're seeing is really, really sharp and really detailed. Now, if you start with a 1080p camera or something even lower potentially, what happens is that then, well, you're going to start with, 1080p and you're streaming at 1080p. That's going to be compressed. That's going to be compressed again, right? And so you're basically losing detail. So it's a little bit like cooking. You want to start with the best ingredients. And yes, I'm stealing that from my own video that we have live on our YouTube channel if you want to go watch it. But it's like cooking. You want to start with the best ingredients. If you start off with really high quality, organic, farm fresh, yada, 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 vegetables, they're gonna taste better than the ones that are, not that are, shipped from overseas somewhere, that have been on a boat for, 6 weeks, that sort of thing. It's not gonna be great. Your food's not gonna taste great no matter what you do. And so you wanna start with the best ingredients, and it's like that with cameras as well. You wanna start with the best camera you have. And yeah, that's why 4K 60 is important.
Someone in chat said, "Jasmine, I think you need to clean your glasses." Are my glasses dirty? Were you able to see that? There's no way.
That's crazy
There's no
quality.
way. That's actually I think they're joking. My
Oh,
glasses don't look dirty.
They look pretty clean.
Yeah, they look pretty clean.
chat, are you
Okay, I was
trolling?
I think they were trolling.
Your glasses are muted. That's
My
why.
gla okay, okay, that's fine. But also, I do wanna mention, because of Facecam 4K, usually I don't like putting full makeup on, right? But because I was using Facecam 4K, I was telling this to Phil too when I was, like, recording videos for, like, our landing page, right? I was like, "Phil, this webcam makes my pores show very well," and I was like, "I don't like that." So I was like, "I have to put on some makeup," but LUTs will help, by the way. LUTs will help with that, though, so if you don't wanna show your pores, then the LUTs will help a lot with that. But it's very clear to the point where you can literally see your pores.
Which is absolutely, I get it. For a lot of you out there, that is definitely a concern. It almost can be too high quality. And what I would say to that is you still want a high quality camera. You could absolutely reduce the resolution to 1080p, or even lower if you want to, or 1440p for that matter. You can get actually 1440p 60 or 1080p 60 uncompressed video. If you lower that resolution, you're going to not have all that super visible like micro detail, but you're getting all the benefits of taking that 4K video, compressing it down, or basically squeezing it down, and the better colors that you get with Facecam 4K, which I don't know if we have color on our docket to talk about, but I just wanna say the colors are incredible. Um, I'm not
Got my
using
Rubik's Cube here to
yeah,
showcase the colors. Look
You
at these colors,
guys, you
guys.
get to see my color. My room is colorful. I have a lot of
Mm.
plushies in the background. This is not green screen, guys. This is my real room, by the way. So this is not green screened. My pink hair. I'm pretty colorful here. You guys can see all the colors here.
yep. I actually just turned off a LUT that I had on, so this is the pure natural color right out of the camera. This is, of course, with some settings that I've tweaked, in the camera itself, but this is it. This is what it looks like. So it looks really, really good. I could hear the argument that it actually looks almost too neutral, but that's also, again, just a really, really, it's actually a really nice thing because it gives you, it's almost like a color palette that you can then work with, right? It's a canvas that you can work with. You can shape your color, you can shape the way your image looks using things like LUTs or using, RGB behind you, something like that, to really, well, again, change the way that your camera looks. And, if you want to then add a LUT on there to give you, a little bit more contrast there, or make yourself look a little bit more like you're in a noir film, you could absolutely do that. But again, starting off with really high quality, just video is key. And that's the most important thing.
I agree. I agree. And I think we're gonna move on to how do lens filters work? So we do have
Yeah,
an amazing video that Sean edited and made that we could show you guys very soon.
yeah, if we can get that loaded. But as Phil was saying, kind of these LUTs sometimes can help get rid of those super sharp textures if it's too much on your pores. But it's something also that a filter can do. So we can take a look at those filters. But to explain some things about filters. So by the way, this new Facecam 4K webcam, you can install camera filters, third party filters, or our own CPL filter that we have. Um, those can be installed onto this webcam if you just screw it on. And filters are like transparent or semi-transparent little accessories that you can put on a DSLR camera or lens, or in this case, our webcam. And there's a bunch of different type of filters. So we can see this video here will go through a
Yep.
bunch of different filters we have.
Actually, I could just manually scroll through it. So we have,
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, just go ahead and play through
or
it.
yeah, I'll play through it first here.
So it's really cool about filters in general is that there's so many different types of filters. There's ND filters, CPL filters, gradient filters sometimes. There's a bunch of different types. And one of my favorites is something called a black mist filter. And it's on this video here. If you can actually go to the black mist section of that video,
Yes.
you will see
I think
that it
this
actually
one,
blooms the highlights. So there it is. This is the 1/8 black mist filter. And black mist, by the way, is a general term for this type of filter. A bunch of manufacturers make black mist filters. Um, I got one of these on Amazon and just screwed it onto my Facecam 4K or when I got this shot right here. And you can see it just blooms out the key lights in the back and that blue light going on in the back. It really just diffuses the whole image, but keeps the detail. And even if you were to zoom in on this model's face, it just it's kind of sometimes it's called a beauty filter. It kind of adds in that bloom to highlights and to just the overall image, but still keeping the detail there. So it's a really nice filter that I really like using for my photography. And that's just one filter that you can put on this webcam.
what else do
And
we
yeah,
have
that's how
here?
they.
Like, it looks like there's different intensities of black mist, right? There's like quarter, and then what was the other one? That was an eighth. And those,
Yeah, yep.
what would that do basically? It's like how intense the diffusion is at that point.
Yeah, so black mist filters generally come in different stops. There's a 1/4 filter and 1/8 filter. There's also like 1/2 and also a full one filter. Those are really strong. I like to keep at the low end, so 1/8 or 1/4 is what I prefer. You can see how much bloom you're getting in that image right there, looking at the key lights, and it looks really nice. If you're a streamer or you have any lights in the background of your setup, this can just really add in some like cinematic detail. That's usually why I use this filter for most of my videography and photography. But
Ye-
that's just one filter.
Let's
You can
see. Oh yeah,
There's
we
so
have
many different
CPL
options.
here. This one's also interesting. Do you want to go over what CPL does or what it means?
Yeah, let me so explain what CPL. I have to search up the actual word of CPL. It's
Circular polarizing or polarizer.
circular polarizing lens filter. Yeah, so a CPL filter basically removes polarizing light, and sometimes you get polarizing light from the sun or from certain lights in your room. And these just help get rid of reflections. So in our example here, we have a model and the monitor, and our CPL Elgato CPL filter. You can basically turn this filter, and it removes glares from certain objects. And usually, this is coming from different types of lights or from your monitors. They also reflect or have that type of light that polarizes. So in this demo that Phil is showing us, you could see it just cleans up the image a little bit. And sometimes, especially with glare in your glasses, it can remove the glare. So you can see in this example, if you guys wear glasses and this is something that you see often, getting a CPL filter can really help with that. And luckily, with our new Facecam 4K webcam, you can actually install it directly onto your webcam and fix
Yep.
this issue. It's a really nice filter that is often used in car photography, and because cars reflect a lot of light, and you can remove stuff. You can remove that reflection, and that's exactly what's going on in this example
Are
here.
you saying we should do like a car edit using a Facecam 4K and a CPL
I think we should
filter? That
install a
would
stream deck
go
that drives the
hard.
car.
That would
That-
be
oh,
crazy.
I do
Um,
also have a few questions here. Question by Sony. Are these views we're seeing also using the lights, or are these natural room light?
I think this is actually lit, right? We do have a softbox behind the camera to obviously light our talent here. Um,
yeah.
but generally, I mean, this is just in a room. So we have one light on them, and then there's just some key lights behind, and that's pretty much it. The rest of the room is just lit up. This one's also kind of fun here. This one, the
Yeah, let's talk about this one. This is a third party wide angle attachment filter that I threw onto onto Facecam 4K, and just like how fun this is. If you guys ever watch those skateboard videos, it's just really cool. Sometimes especially like short form content nowadays has like a really wide angle perspective. So if you're recording vertical content on your computer from like a streamer setup, it might be something to just try out. I really like how this looks, and obviously, if you're doing vertical, it'd be cropped in so you wouldn't get these black borders. But it's just kind of like that nostalgic look that you see in those uh those fun little skate videos. Yeah, you could just throw it on here. Keep in mind that the specific filter that we got for this wide angle attachment was pretty heavy. So we had to mount the camera on a tripod, which you can still do that with a Elgato multi mount. Um, but so just keep in mind some filters might be heavy. Specifically this one was really heavy, so it wouldn't really work on
just on the monitor mount.
the
Yeah,
monitor. Yeah, but if you attach it to a multi-mount or an external tripod, it works just fine. But it's a
yeah.
really cool look. So it's very specific. I think if you're doing something like maybe it's your B camera, using that ultra wide camera as your B camera, like showing off your entire setup is pretty cool.
And let's go through one more here. This one's kind of a personal favorite of mine, just for the look of it. This is the star filter. So this one, I mean, it's literally in the name. This one, because of the way that the filter is set up, the glass, it actually creates streaks of light. And so any smaller point light sources that are basically, so think of fairy lights in your setup, or think of something like a small flashlight or even a phone light, right? Those really, really small lights are gonna get these streaks or almost like lens flares that come out of them in the star pattern. And again, it's something that can just change the way that your camera video looks. It gives it a, somewhat sort of a mystical effect. And if this is something that you want in your content, then you just put one of these on the front of Facecam 4K and go from there. So lens filters give you a ton of power and a ton of creativity when it comes to how you want your image to look. And again, those aren't even, these filters are something that you physically screw on the front of the camera, and so they're not going to be they're not just effects in the background that are running. These are the real physical thing. But I'm sure you've
Yeah.
had some questions, so I think we should
Yeah, I
probably
see
get
some
to
questions
those.
here
Yes,
actually.
just a bunch of questions. So,
There's a lot of people asking, oh, sorry, Jasmine. There's a lot of
yeah.
people asking about mounting the camera. There is a 1/4 inch thread on the bottom of the webcam, just so you guys know. So you can actually take off the monitor mount and put the webcam on an external tripod or one of our multi mounts.
Let me see if
And
I can
then
pull up a picture of that actually. I don't think I have one.
I
Not
saw,
not readily available. But yeah, absolutely. It is just mountable using that industry standard, 1/4 inch thread, the same thing that you would mount any other camera with, or even something like a microphone or lights. It's that industry standard.
and the other question I saw was, yeah, how do you, or like what size filters do you need? To clarify, you need 49 millimeter filters. So if you're going to buy a filter for this webcam, there's so many options of filters you can get. Make sure it's 49 millimeters, um, and that should easily install into your webcam.
Oh, let me see. I wanted to actually just pull up Amazon to show you guys. So if we go on here, they're of course available at B&H, Amazon, retailers and online locations worldwide. I should probably type in filter here, not watch. There we go. Check this out. So there's a couple brands that like Tiffin here, K and F, and they all make them in various different qualities. Some lenses are glass, some lenses are plastic, some filters are, they're just higher quality, the machining, the way the light comes through it and everything. So yeah, you can get these for various different prices, various different qualities. um, super easy online or at a local retail store to just pick one up. So yeah, and I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of content out there from different folks, including from us, obviously showing you the effect of these filters. And you can also just watch other content that doesn't even use a Facecam 4K just to get an idea of how these filters look. And then, you can kind of think about, oh, okay, so if I put it on the front of the Facecam, this is how it's going to look in my content. But yeah,
And
that's
I
a great
saw someone
question.
ask, "Is Jasmine using a CPL filter?" No, so actually what you guys are seeing from, my view is that I'm not using any filters at all. This is just Facecam 4K with basically my 2 key lights and an Elgato neon sign. So that is basically what you're seeing here. It's just lighting, regular, no filters, no blur, but you can add on filters. Um, Bill, do you wanna show them about the background blur, which is really cool as
Yeah,
well?
definitely. Let's take a look here. So this is actually the Camera Hub software that you get with Facecam 4K, which we haven't really discussed yet. But Facecam 4K, as we mentioned earlier, gives you really high quality 4K 60 video. Starts with good video, starts with those 49 millimeter lens filters. But then after that, you want to add or you want to control the camera and do more with it. And that's where our Camera Hub software comes in. And this is what it looks like here. So before we even really go into it, I want to give you a little demo, a little overview. Let me move this stuff out of the way. Nobody wants to see those icons. There we go. Why is that? What is that? That's weird. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, this is the Camera Hub software here. You can of course see your camera. It'll also, what's really cool, display what your input is. And this display, or rather the format, is what the camera is sending to other software. So let's say I add the camera into OBS, or I add the camera into Zoom or Slack or Discord. It's going to show you here a readout of what that format is. So you always have an idea. Are you using compressed video like MJPEG? Are you using uncompressed video? What's the resolution? What's the frame rate? Super nice. Below that, you immediately have your framing controls. So of course you can zoom in here, as I've done, I can zoom in. Hello, that's me. And zoom out here, get that perfect framing. You also have auto face tracking. So if you have an NVIDIA RTX GPU, you can, move around and it'll follow you around. You also have presets. So what you can do is you can, like, for example, let's say I like this here. I can now press and hold on A. Now I can, frame it up at this light up here, press and hold B. And now I can tap to basically animate between the two positions, almost like yeah, I mean, PTZ presets basically. Next up, you have some of these picture controls. So you've got your contrast, saturation, and sharpness. These are, just to help you fine tune the image again a little bit. I like to bump my sharpness up to around 60 to 70, depending on the day. Saturation, I tend to just leave at the default, which I think is 70, and then contrast at 55. Same thing, that's just out of the box. The really cool thing, and where the real power of Elgato cameras comes in, previous ones and of course Facecam 4K here, is in the manual settings that you have control over, which here is exposure. So you can of course set your camera to auto exposure, and this is how most webcams function. You'll just have, basically it'll try to keep you bright, but sometimes it doesn't work. Maybe you have another light that's kind of interfering. Maybe you don't like how it actually changes brightness when you move around, all of that. Well, with Facecam 4K, you can turn off automatic exposure and use manual exposure. And at this point, you are setting the same camera settings that you get on a DSLR. So you get shutter speed, which is literally how many times a second, the camera uh, closes the shutter, gets video. Here's a 60th of a second. This is basically 60 frames per second. If you go shorter, of course, there's less light coming into the camera, but you're getting, you're reducing the brightness then. So this is great if you've got like a really bright setup. If you go longer, so for example, 60 or even below that, you're not getting 60 FPS anymore, but you can see it gets brighter, right? So for 60 FPS, always stay at 1/60th of a second. Next up is ISO. This is basically how sensitive the camera is or the sensor is to light. And so you can change that here as well. So you can see as I go down, I can go up, and you can fine tune that as well to get just exactly the right setting that you want. And then finally, you also have dynamic range controls here. Now, dynamic range controls basically, we're in standard dynamic range now. There's also an HDR mode. HDR mode, what it does is it combines two frames, basically one that's overexposed and one that's underexposed, and kind of combines them. And that way you get more detail in video where there's really bright, um, basically like a background, like a window or something. In fact, I can show you with my light up here. See that light up here? There's no detail right now in, basically the light and the wall blend together because the camera is exposing, that light really bright because it kind of can't deal with it. Now I could of course lower the ISO, and now look, there's the light and there's the wall. There's a difference there. But now I'm too dark. This is not great. I'm too dark. So what you can do is at 30 FPS, so for example, in this case, I could set it to We'll go 1440p 30. We'll just set that. There we go. What I can do is I can set the dynamic range to high and check that out. Now the wall is properly exposed, the light is properly exposed, and I am also properly exposed. So that's what high dynamic range does. It's literally combining two images together, and then, taking the bright and the dark information. And so that's really nice, again, if you're working in a high contrast environment. Usually it's when you have a window behind you, and the window's really bright. Um, for most of you, though, you can probably just, leave it on standard mode here, like I'm using, and you'll be all good. So that's dynamic range. Next up, you of course have white balance. Now I'm on auto white balance. You of course have manual white balance as well. So you can use that to kind of tweak that. Um, usually there's a second setting alongside white balance called tint, or rather you have your temperature and then your tint control. So temperature is going between blue and orange, and tint is between magenta and green, if I'm not mistaken. And tint control is something that we're going to be adding in a future firmware update. Can't comment on the time frame or anything like that, but we are adding tint control in a future firmware update after the launch of this camera. And so that'll give you even more controls there. But I think this does a fantastic job out of the box, just in its auto mode, so I'm going to leave it there. The last thing, and this is new to Facecam 4K, is processing of both anti-flicker and noise reduction. Anti-flicker, I'm going to cover that first, is, well, you choose there what the power grid, or basically where you live. So, I'm in North America, and our power grid runs at a frequency of 60 hertz, right? 60, 120, 240, etc. And that way there's no flicker in light. Otherwise, what might happen is lights behind you will start getting an annoying flicker. If you live in regions with 50 hertz power, then you want to select 50 hertz there. The really cool thing, though, about Facecam 4K is the noise reduction. So noise reduction is something that you just inherently have. You on webcams, due to their generally smaller sensor sizes, you're going to turn up your ISO a little bit, and you're going to get a little bit of noise there. And so noise reduction, typically you can choose like off here, and you're going to see there's quite a bit of noise. Now, this is the rawest image that you can get out of a Facecam 4K. Out of the box, it does ship with low noise reduction, which already looks much, much better. And then you can, of course, also customize it. So let's say you do go with a lower ISO here, then you don't need to set the noise reduction as high. And there's two settings for noise reduction. Watch the overview video if you want to learn more about like kind of the in-depth technical workings. But essentially 2D noise reduction is really quick, really fast, and efficient, but it can smear a little bit of like fine edge detail. So we're talking like hairs, or again, behind me, that poster, like fine text. It'll remove noise, but it'll also remove a little bit of that fine detail. So I generally recommend keeping that low. 3D noise reduction works by actually combining multiple images over time. If you play video games, think of it a little bit like TAA. Now, for some folks who are technical out there, don't get too mad. I know it's not an identical comparison, but essentially what's happening is it takes one frame, another frame, and it compares them, and it goes, okay, there's a bunch of noise here, but this is fill. We're going to leave fill the same, but we're going to take the noise out, right? Because it compares two images over time. And you can then choose how strong you want this effect to be. And what this will do is it'll get rid of noise, it'll keep the sharpness, but what it can introduce is a slight amount of smearing when you move around. So you'll see if I move now, maybe it's a little bit more smeary. And so what's great with Facecam 4K is you can customize and fine tune these settings to your exact setup. So yeah, someone said astrophotography. Exactly. If you're doing like super long exposures, you have to make sure that your images are all, you're basically pointed at the same place, because otherwise you're going to get like it's unfocused and unsharp. So yeah, it's basically temporal noise reduction. Exactly. And the other one is spatial, if you want to talk about the technical terms there. But yeah, so like this is a pretty good default value here, 10 and 20. I personally just run 0 and like 1, just because that's me. You can see what it looks like there. It's also cool because you can zoom in if you want to visit, and get a better idea, right? If I zoom in here, and now I can crank up the noise reduction, I can turn it down. I could even turn it off. Off, obviously not really recommended unless you can turn it off, and then you could actually record yourself. If you are, let's say you're hosting a podcast, or you just want to record the highest amount of video and use the noise processing from your video editor, like DaVinci Resolve or Adobe Premiere, you could turn off the noise reduction and then do it in there if you want to. So that's also an option. But again, the really cool thing about all of this in Facecam 4K and with Camera Hub is that it's all controllable by you. Finally, once you've set all your settings, right? Let's say I'm super happy with this image. I can click on save up here. And this is another feature of the hardware Facecam 4K is that it's got Elgato flash memory on board. What that means is it's got storage. So when I click save here, it's taking these settings, it's putting them onto the camera. And now if I disconnect the camera, connect it to a new computer, or let's say I shut down my computer, restart, open it into a new app, it's always going to reuse those same settings I set, earlier. It's not going to reset. They're not going to be slightly out of whack, or let's say I go to a new computer, right? Something like that. It's always going to use the same. It's always going to use those same settings. It's also kind of cool because then if you connect it to a device where you don't even have Camera Hub software, like, oh, I don't know, a Switch 2, and if you want to use Game Chat, you can customize all your settings in Camera Hub, save it onto the camera, then connect your camera to your Switch, and it'll use those same settings, which that's awesome. Or even if you connect it to an iPad or something like that, where you can also use Facecam. So that is a quick look at the control that you get with Facecam 4K. Next up is effects. I know that's actually where we started this whole TED Talk, but bear with me here. Next up is effects that you get in Camera Hub. Now, these are based on your system. Basically, you'll need an NVIDIA RTX GPU, and you get a couple different options here. One is just a very basic background blur. So if you want to blur your background, you can do that. You can also choose how much it blurs your background. Pro tip, set it to 0. 0 is the most realistic one. It really does look like a high quality lens at that point that's got, a pretty shallow depth of field. It is really, really good. It looks the most convincing. Anything beyond that, it still works, but obviously it's like, okay, now it's a fake background blur. But that 0%, some people might be like, hey, what camera are you using there? You set it to 100%? Okay, that's crazy. That's crazy. Um, Next up, you also have video backgrounds. So if you do want a video, or I'm sorry, that's actually an image. So if you just want background replacement, you can do that. And then there's videos as well. So here we go. Got a video playing. So if you want to use that, you totally can. Then there's LUTs. LUTs do not require an RTX GPU. LUTs work on both Windows and Mac, and you simply, select the LUT that you want to use. There's a bunch of them pre-installed with Camera Hub. LUTs are a little bit, think of them like color grading presets, if you will. So this one here is called Vivid Boost. And so, I can just increase it and then the intensity goes up, or kind of the vividness of the image. There's also a coffee break one here. So this one goes a little bit more in kind of a retro tone. And you can make your own LUTs. You can, of course, also get LUTs from Elgato Marketplace, as well as additional video and photo backgrounds. So if I open Elgato Marketplace here, this is it right here. So you can just get LUTs here. Some are free, some are paid, as well as different camera backgrounds, and install those in literally like one click. So LUTs are really cool. And then there's also a eye contact effect. So if you want to look like you're looking at the camera, even though you're not, you're kind of looking down, off, and away, then you can turn that on as well if you don't have a teleprompter. So those are this is the effects tab here. Again, just a quick note, you do need an NVIDIA GPU for the AI background blur or removal or replacement. You don't for the LUTs. The LUTs work on both Windows and Mac no matter what system you have. And yeah, I think that's kind of it. I want to show one more cool thing with Camera Hub, which some of you might not know about. On Windows, you can only access a camera, one camera at a time, in an app. So you open OBS and your camera's in OBS. Now you open Discord, right? Discord can't use your camera. Of course, we have that same situation here with Camera Hub. Let's say you have your camera open in OBS. What you can do is you can actually set Camera Hub to its mini mode. So you just click that little button right there, and then it goes into this basically a settings only mode. And now you can still use it in OBS and tweak the settings if you want to. There is, of course, also the virtual camera, which you can use if you are wanting to add a background or a LUT to your video. But if you just want to add the raw camera feed to, whatever app you're using it in, then you do have this collapsible preview as well. There's also other fun options like just taking a snapshot, seeing your snapshots. You can put a grid overlay on there. So if you're familiar with the rule of thirds, you can quickly frame your image that way, right? So rule of thirds, generally, it's more interesting if something is on one of these intersection points here. Sean probably knows more about that than I do. But if I want to make my video look somewhat artistic, then I can, do this. And hey, look, now it already looks more interesting than if I just literally frame myself in the center of the image, or, keep your eye line maybe on the second line here. So this grid is also very, very helpful. But yeah, I know that I've been talking for a long time. Sorry, I'm on a roll. I bet there's a bajillion questions. I will let Sean and Jasmine chime in again, as well as you chat.
So we actually do have a ton of questions queued up at the moment. Do you guys want to take a guess? How many questions we got lined up right now?
I
Two,
guess
two.
I see a
Two's crazy. Two's crazy. Take a guess. Take a guess. How many questions do you think you got?
a dozen.
42.
Oh my god.
Okay.
42
Alright, so,
questions?
let's go
Speed
ahead
run.
and, speed run these questions then. So, let me see. We already did this. Bum. And then Briscoes is asking, is this going to be better than the Facecam Pro?
Um, if you want like a simple yes, no answer, the answer is no. The more detailed answer is depends on your setup. Facecam Pro has a larger sensor, so it lets in a little bit more light. Facecam Pro also has a autofocus lens, or basically a variable focus lens, so you can actually control where it's focusing on. Facecam 4K is a fixed focus lens, um, and the light that goes into Facecam 4K is just a little bit less. Facecam Pro, of course, does not have lens filter support. So if that's important to you, then you would want to get a Facecam 4K. If you don't care about those, then you would get a Facecam Pro. If all you're after is like the absolute best image quality, Facecam Pro is your best bet there. But it's also, there's a price difference there, right? Facecam 4K is 200 US, Facecam Pro is 300 US. So there's that as well. I recommend taking a look at the Explorer article that the team has put together. There you can see a little bit more about what the differences are. Um, but yeah, and if you kind of like stack them up, yeah, Facecam Pro is still our top end camera. Then you have the Facecam 4K, Facecam Mark II, and then Facecam Neo under that.
Sweet. And then we have a question from YouTube by Andrew. They're asking, one of the differences with Facecam 4K and the prior Facecam Pro is that the focus is fixed rather than being able to manually or auto adjust. Can Facecam 4K work well in wider shots further away?
Yeah, or Sean, I don't know if you want to take this one. Otherwise, I can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say I can demonstrate right now. I can
All right.
I'll go
Awesome.
behind my bed and I'll go walk over there. Facecam 4K is a fixed focus camera, but there is a long, wide range of what is in focus. So that's really great if you have a cool setup in the background, just like Jasmine seems to have right now, or you know, whether you're moving a lot back and forth or you're like, I don't know if any of you guys stand up when you stream. That's something I always wanted to do. I love fidgeting and walking around. So you're you're not gonna have an issue probably being out of focus. You're the distance is really wide. So that's the one thing I actually really like about these fixed focus webcams is that I don't have to worry about if I'm in focused, and it's really nice, especially if I'm a lot of people that stream like myself back in the day. I had a cool setup in the back, and it's always nice to have being focused. You don't need to worry about that.
Yeah. Facecam 4K is definitely more of a studio camera and wants more light. So let's say you have just a little bit of light in front of you, maybe a single key light, or maybe really just like a floor lamp or something like that. You may want to look at the Facecam Mark II or Facecam Pro. Facecam 4K loves a lot of light. It'll look much better. The colors will be better. You can turn down the ISO, all of that. Um, it definitely likes its light. The ISO. I mean, the camera is really powerful and can process a lot. But of course, as we know with cameras, as we learned in class, right, in physics, uh, you can't like light is light. You can't replace light. So it doesn't matter how expensive or how good your camera is, you need good lighting. I also saw a comment, I think it was from Elgato Julian, that It appears that Facecam 4K is the first 4K 60 fixed focused webcam, which is kind of cool. Um, we're doing a lot of world's first with this one again. So yeah.
All right, sweet. Next question is from Witness Protection. They're asking, how's the low light performance?
You okay, bro? Why are you in WITSEC? How's the low light performance? I
Look at the
ki
look at the profile picture.
I don't see it, but, like, as I kind of just mentioned, so Facecam 4K is a studio camera. You definitely want to like, it's meant for if you have lights. So I have 2 key lights here. They're both running at about, like, I think it's like 30% or so, and that's the video that you're seeing, coming out of it. I could probably even, reduce that a little bit more like that, maybe bump up, this a little bit. So, that's what you're seeing here. If I did turn off all my lights, it's again, we just mentioned it, lighting is lighting. You do need good lighting for this camera. If I turn off all my lights, yeah, it's going to be darker compared to some of our other camera solutions out there. Um, so yeah. Some of
And
this is
then
also sorry to as like a kind of another thought. Some of this you just have to look online at basically comparisons that people are doing. In fact, even ourselves, the Facecam Pro seems to be the biggest question. We have, let me just jump over to the desktop capture here. We have on Elgato Explorer, we have a comparison article that, looks at the different specs between the two, but I would highly encourage you to go to the bottom because we have videos here that both talk about them, but we also have quality sample videos. So if I actually go here and go to our YouTube channel, and there's Steggy, and then I go to videos, we have this guy right here. So this is a Facecam 4K quality showcase where, this is as unedited as it gets footage. We just recorded the footage, cut it all together, put it out there. This is the basically as true as it gets Facecam 4K quality. And then we also have the same thing for Facecam Pro. So I think if we search Elgato Facecam Pro quality sample, I think that's the one. This is it right
Yeah.
here. So this is the Facecam Pro. Of course, we want to make sure we play it at 4K, right? All of that jazz. But here you can see. So you can watch both of these videos and get a really good idea for what the quality and kind of what the difference is. You could literally line them up side by side if you want to and kind of jump back and forth there.
And you guys can see it live too, because we're all using Facecam 4K right now too. So you guys might have saw me in the video as well. I literally recorded that a few days ago. So what you saw and what you see here is basically the same setup. I'm using my 2 key lights at 30%. Both of them are at 30%. I have an Elgato neon sign here, which is emitting like a little blue light here. I can also turn it off. Just talk about the blue.
Yeah.
A little bit less
Oh,
color, but you know, it has like a nice little blue pop that I really like here. So here we go.
All right. Do we have another question of the
Oh yeah.
42?
Oh yeah, we have a ton. So next question is by T-Pain. They're asking, do you use Facecam 4K as an everyday camera or do you use it for certain projects slash content?
It's going to be great in as just as your everyday camera. If you're creating content, making videos, if you need to do A-roll, if you're in front of the camera like this, you're presenting, you're talking, could be for your for your live stream, it could be for recording, it could be for meetings. It'll look great. If you even want to show off, I mean, I don't know. Here's a water bottle. Like, oh, I'm showing you guys a product here. As you can see, I use that water bottle quite a lot. It works great for that as well. Thanks to that focus range. So, yeah, it just kind of works great for everything. Again, the only thing is make sure you have good lighting. Good lighting is going to be key.
yeah, and when he says certain or they say certain projects or content, I'm thinking like maybe if you are a streamer and you want to get into short form content doing TikTok or something that, is outside of just streaming, like look at the quality I have right now. Imagine if this was like a YouTube short. Like I think this quality looks really good for that kind of content. So if it's like even if it's not just a meeting or something, if it's a video project, this is a webcam that I would look into for creating outside types of content or higher quality content.
Yep.
Hmm. And then next question is from Enzo from YouTube. Does Facecam 4K come with a compatible plate for prompter?
That is a great question. So it doesn't come with a backplate for prompter. So there's a couple different things. So we're slowly going to be switching over prompter to come with the Facecam 4K backplate. So if you buy a prompter today, you're likely still going to get the Facecam Pro backplate. If you buy a prompter in a couple months, you're probably going to get the Facecam 4K backplate. If you can't wait, let's say you have a Facecam 4K today, or you bought one and it's going to be delivered this week. There's 3D print files online on Elgato Marketplace. So you can actually get the 3D print file and you can 3D print your own, or if you have a buddy, hit them up and ask them to 3D print you the backplate, or maybe there's someone even in the community that you could chat with, or, go on, a site where you can, send it and they'll print it for you and ship it to you. So that's option number two. Option number three is you buy the backplate when they're available on Elgato.com as a basically an accessory or spare part. When exactly that's happening, I'm not sure yet, but our team is working on it. So yeah, those are the three things. One, wait. If you don't have a prompter yet, wait, and then you'll get the backplate eventually in the prompter. Two, 3D print it. Three, buy it off Elgato.com when it becomes available.
And then the next question is from Ian's Crafts. What is the color accuracy like? As a crafter, I need accurate colors always.
Do you want to take this one, Sean?
Color accuracy. Yeah, well, I'm not too sure about like what you mean by color accuracy in terms of on a technical standpoint. Uh But what I do know is the camera out of the box comes with a sort of neutral type of profile. That's kind of like the base image you're going to get. And one thing I really like about this camera is that it works with Camera Hub. So you have, and this is something I want to talk about this whole time I've been thinking about, is that I saw so many people talking about some of you guys that are streamers, you guys use external DSLR cameras and then connect your DSLR to your computer using Camlink, and then you're wondering about this camera. So the thing that I think is really cool is that with this camera having filters and having LUTs available, if you are trying to color match to a specific, third party camera like a Sony DSLR camera or a Canon DSLR camera that you already use as your A camera, this camera would be the one I'd be looking at because it comes with a pretty neutral profile, which somebody in chat also asked if it was a log. I don't think this camera offers log at this I don't think it offers log, but
No.
it has a very neutral type of image you're going to get. And if you know anything about video, having a very neutral image is always great to start with. So, color accuracy, I think um, you have a lot to play around with this camera. You have I want to go through my LUTs here. I've installed a few, or these are just kind of the ones that I think are already installed into Camera Hub. But I am a big fan of Vivid Boost, and then just you can see these colors here. I have my intensity set at like 40%. I can boost it up to 60. Let's boost it up a little bit and just go through these ones. So if you're trying to color match like a DSLR webcam, or sorry, DSLR camera, I would first start with my, contrast and saturation and my sharpness, but then go into LUTs and just start, if you guys have tried making your own LUTs, that is something you can do. I've made my own LUTs for Camera Hub before, and you can make it using whatever you guys use for, if you are a content creator, you can use Photoshop, you can use Lightroom, and do some watch some YouTube videos on how to create a LUT file and import that into Camera Hub, and you can get an image that looks pretty similar to your DSLR webcam. And
Yep.
I think that's something that's really useful if you are interested in like color accuracy or color matching.
Yeah, I
Let
think
me dial this down a little bit.
color accuracy is not necessarily like it's a thing in cameras, but every camera is different, right? Our even there's even slight differences between Elgato cameras, right? They don't all look the same because of the sensors they use. Now, which camera is more accurate to like real life is actually going to be a little bit subjective to you. Do you think that this looks like real life, or do you want a more stylized look? So, like Sean was mentioning, getting that out of the box, just a really great color that you can then kind of build off of. So having that great foundation that you build off of is really kind of what you want there. And that's what you get with Facecam 4K.
The cube, everyone in chat saying, "Show the cube." So,
The
guys, I have a
cube,
box of cubes. Can I show this off?
yeah, we can. All right.
My box of cubes, I've got a lot of them, guys. Like all the colors. There's so
That
many.
is really colorful, dang. And
Oh,
look at how the
yeah,
red comes through and the yellows there. They got some pop
yeah.
to them.
Look at that. Very nice.
Nice.
Do you speed cube, Sean?
I used to back in my day. I used to speed cube.
Give us a Sean lore, like, what's the fastest you solve? I don't know anything about Rubik's
My
Cube. The only thing
record
I
is
know is I can't solve them.
my record's 18 seconds. I have a bunch of 3x3s. I have like a dozen of these same cubes, these 3x3s. But yep, they're very fun to solve. Back in my day, yep.
Well, what's stopping you, you know?
I know I should go for the world record. 3 seconds. You know the world record's like 3 seconds. So fast. I'm like, how the
Really?
heck? That's
Oh my
like, look
god.
at this, and then
Yeah.
boom, it's done. Like I don't know how people do that.
Alright, next question is from GCP from YouTube. They're asking, why does Facecam 4K have HDR but Facecam Pro does not?
Uh, Good question. Sometimes it's just down to the technology that's used in the camera and also the kind of the environment we imagine you use it in. So, Facecam Pro, $300, that's quite an investment. You're probably, if you're putting, if you're investing in a high quality camera like that, you're probably very well aware of things like, overexposure, underexposure, controlling the light in your environment, that sort of thing. And so, we figure, okay, you probably don't need HDR, on there because you don't, you're going to have like a very controlled set and a very controlled setup, kind of like I do here. I have these RGB lights behind me. I have this light up here. I have key lights in front of me. I have total control over my light environment. I have my windows blocked out over here, not entirely, but mostly. So I'm probably never going to need HDR realistically. And when I use Facecam Pro, everything looked great. The other part of that is, yeah, simply the technology on the camera itself. Technology evolves over time, and so we have a new image signal processor inside, together, with a new lens inside the Facecam 4K. So that enables us to do HDR. So yeah.
I see that Julian is also in chat. So I'm gonna
John
bring Julian.
Elgato himself.
Yeah, John Elgato himself. I'm gonna bring his comment up over here. So in terms of scientific color accuracy testing, Facecam 4K is going to score the best in something like Amethyst. Is that Amethyst?
It's either that or LMA. I'm actually not sure.
Thank you, Julian, for clarifying that
Yeah,
in
thank you,
chat for us.
Julian, for color accuracy. There you go.
Sweet.
All
And then
right.
next question is gonna be from Nil. Does Facecam 4K have a mic integrated?
That is a great question. Thank you for asking. So, no, Facecam 4K does not have a microphone, nor do any other Elgato cameras for that matter. And there's a couple of very good reasons we decided to do this. The first one, and that's actually a question for you, chat. How many of you have a dedicated microphone or a microphone that you would use or that you are using daily, right? I'm just going to go ahead and kind of preface this by saying it's probably a lot of you. And so if we put a microphone into the webcam, you're probably not gonna use it, and it's probably not gonna sound good because the camera is all the way in your monitor, over here. You're sitting over here, so it's not gonna sound good. It's also not the focus of the product, so, realistically, webcam mics aren't that great because it's supposed to be a webcam, it's not supposed to be a microphone. And it's just added cost that is in the camera, right? Now you have to, basically literally build in a microphone into your camera, so it's just gonna cost more. So instead, what we do is we take out the microphone because we know that you're going to be using a better mic, like a Wave 3 or a Wave DX, of course, with the Wave XLR. And at that point, we can either, if we keep the same product cost, then we can move that towards getting better glass, better image signal processor, better components in there, or the product can actually be cheaper, either or, right? So that's pretty simply why we don't put a mic on it because. I mean, also, I guess a question for chat, but how many of you use your webcam mic out there and are happy with it, right? That would be another thing. Imagine if we put out a webcam with a microphone and it really sounds bad. I mean, that's not Elgato. We can't do that. So, yeah.
Sweet. And then let's see. Next question is going to be from Joy. Does Camera Hub have to be running in the background to use effects?
Sean?
I believe yes, it will need to be running to have the effects active, but you can always minimize Camera Hub. You know, you don't need to have it running on your screen at all, and it shouldn't really take too much bandwidth of your computer to be running. I have not personally had any issues with Camera Hub running while I'm gaming or while I'm like recording videos or anything personally. So, but yes, it will need to be running to be using things like your LUTs or just your virtual camera, your
Yep.
AI background, anything like that. But what's cool is you can always save your more basic settings like your contrast, saturation, sharpness. You can save that onto the device. And I believe like contrast and saturation are those
Mhm.
locked in. Those are locked in
Yep.
without Camera Hub needing to be open.
Yep.
So yeah,
Yeah, everything on that front tab, that camera tab, is gonna be saved onto the camera.
cool.
The next question is from Ian's. Does it have autofocus? If so, does it actually work well?
It does not have autofocus, so it's probably the worst performing focus you could have. That's a joke, by the way, right? We all agree that's a joke? Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's a fixed focus camera. What that means is there's no, variable focus built in. So it doesn't matter how far I move, if I move closer, further away, it is going to always be at a set focus distance, which is between, I think it's what, like 12 centimeters to it's pretty wide. So, I mean, we've optimized it for sitting at a desk. I'm probably right now, oh boy, 3 feet away from the camera or something like that. I don't know how many, units that is in centimeters. Um, but I'm perfectly in focus, and I'm gonna be even my background you can see is still re mirrored image, there we go. My background is still very much in focus. In fact, I can zoom in here. Let's try this, and you can see there's tons of detail there. So it'll keep you nice and sharp. It'll keep your background sharp, and you don't have to worry about, the difference. Yeah, like going out of focus. Yeah, yeah, 1 meter. Okay. Oh, hi, Uli. Yeah.
Crazy
Hi,
J
Louis.
Gaming. Oh, hello. Crazy J Gaming says he has a mirrorless camera, but he would love to give this a shot. Yeah, this is a webcam that I think can be color matched and look pretty good with next to a DSLR camera.
Now, on that note, there's been a couple comments on our YouTube video. Like, amongst us friends here, we can be very honest together that is this a replacement for your DSLR? No. If you buy, a $600 body with a $500 lens, or you have $1,000 body, Sony, Canon, something like that, is this going to replace it? No. Is that also what we're saying? Also, no. This is a webcam after all, right? It's got some of the similar constraints there, in terms of size, shape, as well as also cost, right? This is in the end still a $200 camera. However, what we've been able to do there with $200 is incredible. And what we've been able to do with, putting the filter threading on there, the quality that you get out there, the color tuning that our team has performed here, the effects and all the settings and the controls that you get with Camera Hub, it's still, well, Elgato cameras are still the only cameras that I'm aware of that let you save settings onto the camera. Um, that's something you get with it. You get the filter threads, you get that optimized fixed focus, you get that Elgato Prime lens. So you get all these different things that come together and you get a somewhat DSLR-like experience. But if you put them side by side, yeah, I mean, obviously, yes, a DSLR is a DSLR and a webcam is a webcam at that point.
And then we do have a question from, where was it? There you go. So this is a question from Sweet. Are they all using Facecam 4K? Why does Sean's look so different?
Oh, that's very sweet. Sean, why is yours look so different?
I think that's just how we have our lighting set up. You know, especially if you guys are streamers, we're all gonna have different lighting setups. I have mine with I got a bright key light right next to my camera, so it's like perfectly hitting me. And I also got a well exposed background here. I don't know what the huge difference is in terms of if it's like color or anything like that. But in terms
Maybe
of
you have LUT on?
brightness, I not yes, I also am using a LUT. That is that's probably the
I
main
think that's
That's
reason
probably
why
the
I
I
think
key
that's
kind of look
thing.
part of it.
different.
Yeah, I think that's the
Yes,
key
I
reason
was
here.
like, okay, I yeah, I was like, I think it's just the lighting. But yeah, I've got LUTs I'm actually using. I think I'm the only one using a LUT right now. That's probably why. That is why I look different. Okay,
Yeah.
there we go. We got a bunch of different LUTs, and it's built into Camera Hub. If you are not familiar with our LUTs, they are on our software called Camera Hub, and they come with a different. They come with a bunch of different presets. Here's Phil demonstrating some of them. You can add your own presets from Elgato Marketplace, or you can find additional ones from Elgato Marketplace, or add your own LUTs. And that is probably why my camera looks a lot different. I was confused with the question. I was like, I'm not sure.
Yep.
Yeah, and I also just want to add on as well. So what you guys are seeing here, we're all at home from our personal setup. So this is not like an office setup. We're not. This is just what it looks like from our personal space. So we all have obviously different rooms, different spaces here. So you get to see what Facecam 4K looks like in each of our individual rooms. So this is not a green screen. Just so you guys know, you guys might think this is a green screen. It is not. This is my actual room with lots of plushies and my
Jasmine just
bed
has a lot of
behind
plushies.
here.
Guys,
I do.
uh,
I do have a lot of plushies.
you should see her
So,
desk. Oh my gosh.
yeah, and for me personally, what you're seeing from me is this is no filters. Sean's using a LUT, so you can also like use AI backgrounds, stuff like that, like the blur background. Phil, if you want to turn that on for you, that way they can see that as well. But for me, this is just how Facecam 4K looks for me with some of my settings that I tweaked with two key lights that's set to 30%, and then a neon light, Elgato neon light next to me as well to kind of give me a nice little blue pop. So that is mine. And then we have a ton of more questions. So let's
I got
see.
time. Do you guys have
Yeah, we,
time? I
we
got time.
I have time. We
We're
have
here for
yeah, I'm
you.
I'm
here. We're
here.
here for you guys, here to answer your questions as many as you can. So just so you guys know, we are queuing up your questions. So give us a little bit because there is a lot of questions to go through, but ask your question once and we'll make sure to queue it up for you. Next question is gonna be how does Basecamp 4K manage change in lighting over time? I noticed it getting sunnier in Sean's space.
How Uh, does it manage it? Well, I'm actually have my settings on manual, and that's how I prefer to have my settings. I have manual exposure, which includes the manual shutter speed and ISO. And so ISO is what would be changing. If I turn it on to automatic here, let's see how this looks. It's a little dim, but there's also a compensation mode that I can set. Oh, that changed it. And make this will basically have an automatic setting. So I have my exposure now in automatic settings, and it should work pretty well. I just prefer manual. But if you're somebody that um, has an open window like I do, and is going to be streaming for, let's say, 3 hour live stream, and you're not always looking at your your settings, you might want to have it in auto settings. I prefer manual, and I didn't realize that my window would be changing brightness, but you can see what's really cool is with the camera hub, you can, completely manage your camera with all of its settings, depending on, we don't restrict you from using automatic or manual settings. You can literally turn it off and then just, there you go, change it up however you want. I should probably lower it a little bit as it has gotten a
I have
lot
a
brighter
question
in my
actually,
room.
Sean. So you have a really high contrast situation, right? You've got that really bright light coming in there. Uh, can you show us what HDR would look like if you enable HDR?
Yeah, let me change my preview settings real quick. I'm gonna freeze for a second. But here we go. There we go. Let's go to my. I'm gonna go to my exposure settings, and I'm gonna click from standard to high dynamic range, and we're gonna switch on this setting here. And there we
Whoa,
go. We have
th-
the window. You can see here. If you guys had seen, it was
there's
a lot blown
detail.
out a second ago, but now you can actually see outside. And I'm actually surprised because it's super bright outside. So you can see the window, you can actually see the fabric of the blank of my blanket now. You can still see like the actual fabric. So this high dynamic range in general will let you see it will kind of reduce the amount of contrast going on so that you can see bright and dark lights. And then after I've changed it to high dynamic range, I would then make a small adjustments to just fine tune how I look. So I might want to
And I
raise
think
the contrast
we're
a little bit.
In terms of the color tuning, we're actually still doing a little bit of that for the HDR mode. So you will notice that Sean's color shifted slightly. That's because a lot is happening on the camera now when you're combining two images. And so yeah, we're still, we're going to be releasing additional firmware updates where the color is going to look even better when you're using the HDR mode. But it already looks incredible. Of course, you can use a LUT to make that look even
Yes, keep in
better.
mind. Yeah, keep in
So
mind I am
yeah.
using a LUT. I'm using different LUTs here. So yeah, this is what it looks like with. I mean, I think it looks really good actually with the high dynamic range here with that light in the background hitting my bed. That is like direct sunlight actually. So pretty surprised how well this HDR is performing on here. It's got a interesting light setup. So I was thinking about closing my window blinds, but I think this shows off the HDR pretty well.
Yep. And that's exactly what that mode is there for. Yeah.
Awesome. And then next question is from M317. Does Facecam 4K have a privacy shutter? So we did answer this earlier, but I do want to answer this again for everyone who's just tuning in and is coming to the stream. So Facecam 4K does have a privacy shutter. It's a add-on that you will need to add on to your cart. And it is free if you purchase Facecam 4K. So Phil right here is showing how to do it right now. So you just go over to our web store here and Phil,
Yep.
if you wanna go ahead and add it
Oh,
to the
I
cart.
should probably add it to cart. Yeah, that thing.
Yes.
And actually, if I remove this and I don't want a second one in my cart here. I just want one. Uh, let's see. It takes a second. And yeah, so here you can see here it says accessories, privacy lens cap. So this one's not integrated. It comes as an additional. It's a free add-on when you buy Facecam 4K, and it just kind of plops on the front there. It's like a snap-in. I don't know if that's the right way to call it, but you just kind of you pinch together, and then you let go, and it'll stay in place. And yeah, when you purchase your Facecam 4K, just make sure you check this box here, and then hit add to cart, and then you'll have your lens cap in there. It says it's $4.99 or, difference regionally, but once it's in your cart, you'll see the price updates there to the correct amount. So yeah, you can get a free lens cap there.
Thank you.
And what's
So make
super
sure to do
cool,
that.
yeah, what's super cool about this lens cap is that it looks just like a DSLR lens filter or lens cap that you see on like professional setups. It just reminds me of an actual DSLR camera, so it's pretty fun.
Are there lens flaps? Like, could you get one that screws into the threading and stays on, and you kind of just flip it up? That would be kind of cool.
It's probably, I mean, that probably exists. It probably exists.
I don't know if that's
I'm
the
not
right
sure.
term for that, but hey, maybe we just invented something. Let me check.
And then we
Yeah,
have a
go ahead.
question from oh, real quick, sorry. Gabbing. So they didn't see that the lens cap was free. They purchased it within minutes of going live. Anyway, I can look at grabbing the cap still. So reach out to our support team. We do exclamation mark support. I don't think
Yep.
I have this command set up to my stream deck here, but one of our mods could go ahead and do that for us and reach out to your support team and let them know that you purchased Facecam 4K and you'd like to receive the was it privacy shutter as well, and they should be able to send that to you.
They will just need
Yeah,
proof of purchase, of course.
yes, of course. And just a little heads up as well, like when you go to your cart, it's not gonna show it's free until you have Facecam 4K in the cart as well. But once you have Facecam 4K and the lens cap in the cart, it will show that the privacy shutter is free.
All
We have
right.
a quick comment from XO Sweet OX who just asked if we can move around the room uh, because they would like to see uh, the auto adjust. And I assume they're talking about the autofocus. And to reiterate, yeah, this camera has fixed focus, so it does not have autofocus, but there is a wide range of focus. So I'm going to stand up now and I'm going to walk out.
Well, we're gonna lose Sean, obviously, because he doesn't have a mic that walks around with him. Maybe he can still hear us, but yeah, there you go. You can see Sean is still very crisp, very sharp. And you can walk around, you can show stuff off. There is that other mode in Facecam, in Camera Hub, the software that it comes with, called face tracking, which we have as well. So maybe they're also referring to face tracking, in which case that's a software feature that comes with your NVIDIA RTX GPU inside Elgato Camera Hub. I can demonstrate that here a little bit. I'm going to turn this on. And now, as I move around, you can see there, it actually follows me around. Now, depending on how much space you give it or, how much you zoom in, it'll do a better job there, and it obviously needs to also see your face. So if if you turn your back to it, it's not gonna track you anymore. But with that 90-degree field of view, and that focus distance that you have, you're pretty much gonna be, good at, yeah, really at any point.
Sweet. And then
Okay.
next
Mm.
question is gonna be from, let's see,
Oh, and sorry, I'm
Neil.
gonna
Oh,
interject
go
real
ahead.
quick. Yeah, the
Yeah.
tracking there's not supposed to be that stuttery. I'm currently not necessarily overloading, but using a lot of computer resources to do the live stream, to have Camera Hub, to turn on those effects, to have chat. We're also live streaming to both Twitch and YouTube, and we are using the Twitch enhanced broadcasting. So I'm actually running like 10 encodes or something like that. Anyways, it's a lot. So yeah, forgive my poor little. Okay, it's not that little, but forgive my system. I'm using 20 gigs of RAM right now just for the live stream, basically.
Oh my god. Nice.
And it still
So next
runs.
question, next question is from Neil. What max field of view does it have?
Uh, the field of view is gonna be 90, so I'm gonna switch over to just my camera here. And if I zoom all the way out, there we go. So that's a 90-degree field of view, which is really, really nice. I can move that out of the way, but you can really like, it gives you a lot of room to move around in and to feel spacious, or, I mean, you can also get close if you want to, right? You could go up close to the camera, be like, "Hey, everyone, what's going on?" You can, of course, using Camera Hub, reframe that as well, so if you do want to get a little bit more close and personal like this, I'm now at 150% zoom. Well, hey, now it's just me. Now I'm just talking with you guys here, and it's a little bit more private, a little bit more personal. So yeah, you can really adjust the image to how you want, and that 90-degree field of view is really great because it makes everything feel big. Yeah.
All right. Next question is gonna be from Joy. Does mounting the camera vertically affect quality and or performance?
Vertically. No. You basically take 4K video, and instead of being horizontal, you just rotate it vertically. So, yeah, you can do that. You'll just need to configure it. That's not supported in Camera Hub. You'll just need to configure that correctly in the software that you use. So if it's OBS Studio, Meld, whatever, just make sure your rotation and your, mirroring and all that is set up right. But yeah. One topic says, "What the heck? This looks awesome." Yeah, dude. Or
Woo!
gal, like yeah, man. Thank you. You look great. You look awesome.
Oh. All right. Next question is gonna be from Victor on YouTube. Does it have a blurring effect, depth of field?
It doesn't on the camera itself because of the fixed focus system that we have, and we wanna make sure that you're in focus at pretty much, all the distances that you do wanna usually use it in, which is, sitting in front of your desk. You're talking like, 6 feet, about 2 meters, something like that, away from the camera. There's not that very intense background blur that you might be used to seeing, in, like, film or when using a DSLR camera. However, that is built in as an effect, so if you want that as a background, if you want that as an effect on the video itself, you can turn that on in Camera Hub. I'm gonna turn that on right about now, and you can see it adds a very subtle blur there. I've got it set to 0%, basically the minimum amount, and that does require an NVIDIA RTX GPU, so obviously you have to be on Windows. Mac actually has it built in at this point, right? If you're on Mac OS, they have their own, like, background blur it'll apply to any webcam you use, including, of course, Facecam 4K. Um, so yeah, you can just blur your background that way. My recommendation is always, and I don't know why this is like this, Teams, Slack, Zoom, all of these apps that give you background blur, they always start you off with like 100%. It's like, yeah, I don't want my background to be deleted. I just want it to look naturally pleasing and have that pleasing effect. So some of them will call it, they'll call it background blur, and then they'll call it like portrait blur. Usually the regular like portrait blur is going to be the better one. So yeah, just a little pro tip there. Use the portrait blur. That's usually better. I
Listen,
think
sometimes
Sweet.
people don't have a perfect clean setup, Phil. They gotta hide their background.
So quick
true.
question from YouTube.
Just kidding.
This from Terrence. So we do two-person lives. Will the coverage be enough to keep us both in focus?
Oh, absolutely. Definitely. And Sean, I don't know if you have anything to add to that with that 90-degree field of view, but I think you would, yeah, easy.
But they like 1 to 4 foot. I'm not exactly sure about the focus range, but there is a pretty wide focus range and field of view for this camera, so I don't think you'll have any issue with uh getting both of getting at least two people in focus as long as you
Yep.
guys yeah
I think
are
3 would
fine.
get difficult if you want them all sitting side by side, but 2 people, just here, definitely. Yeah.
Sweet. And then let me see. Next question from Life. Does Camera Hub allow you to use automatic background removal with Facecam 4K?
It does, yeah, we demonstrated that earlier. I can just click on it right now. There we go. Now my, background is gone. It's now an image. I can also turn it into a video like I'm on a news desk. So yeah, you can do that as well. We're also looking at upgrading that. Currently when you use those effects, you get the resolution for performance reasons is set to 1080p 60, but we are looking at upgrading that to 4K as well. You heard it
Next
here
question
first.
is from Rascal on YouTube. Can you import your own video for the background?
You can, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, mhm.
And then I think since we're on the same topic of this as well, you can also upload your own LUT as well. So you can make your own LUT, like completely download it or all that stuff and just, have it used in the Camera Hub as well.
Should yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
had a
would I
thought
would
and
showcase
then
it.
yeah.
I would showcase my own LUT if I had it on my computer right now, but it's on my laptop, fortunately.
No worries. Ooh, question from Chilla. How well does this camera work with tracking softwares for VTubers? So that's a question for me because if you guys don't know, I am a VTuber. But sometimes I do facecam streams for Elgato when it's necessary. But I've been using Facecam 4K and it works really well. I really do like the tracking for it, especially if you have NVIDIA broadcast. So if you have an NVIDIA GPU and you use that in combination with um, Facecam 4K, it works really well. I could probably even switch to it, but I might need to like turn my camera off first and then do the whole thingy. I think while I'm doing that, if you guys want to see, I could bring it up, but how many VTubers we have in chat? I guess is the real question here. If there's a lot of interest and a lot of VTubers in chat who wants to see how this works with my tracking, then I will go ahead and set up for you guys live, while Sean and Phil take over the stream and talk more and answer your questions.
Yeah, I think well, with tracking, there's a couple different things. One, you just want really sharp video because obviously the tracking is done via machine learning, artificial intelligence. So it's looking for things like your eyes, your mouth, your head rotation, stuff like that. The better the video quality is, the better the tracking is going to be. So that includes how sharp the video is, right? If you have really kind of dull, unsharp, soft video, the tracking is not going to be as effective. And same with the color again. If you have really good color, the tracking software is going to have a easier job of making sure that, oh, okay, like there's your eyes, there's your eyebrows, there's your mouth, your nose, your face, etc. So getting the best camera you can is, of course, also important when you're VTubing. Um, yeah, and
Mhm.
starting with the Facecam 4K is a great option there.
Yeah.
All right, chat, ask your questions because I'm gonna be setting up the VTubing software, VTube Studio. So ask your questions in chat. Hello, Sean. You guys just pick a question and boom,
My question is, Jasmine, is your VTuber just purple? Like, is that the color that you VTube as?
it's pink. Pink and
Okay.
a little bit purplish, but mainly pink.
Okay. We see purple right now, but yeah, this is the real Jasmine. All right. We had lots of yes, we'd love to see it. So yeah, Jasmine is working on that right now. She's going to come back as her VTuber. I mean, as herself, of course. And let's see here. Would there be a
I'm looking at
future feature for Camera Hub to have a dedicated green screen effect when using a green screen? Um, Possibly, maybe. Yeah, possibly. I don't see why not. Um, we just have to build it in. I can't comment on like if and when and all of that, but it's doable for sure. In the meantime, just add a green screen, a chroma key background, or chroma key or background using something like, OBS, the filters, Meld, or even other applications just have like a green screen version, built in. So
I'm looking through chat to find any other questions.
here's an interesting one. Can you set the resolution to 1440p? And if so, can you enable HDR with 60 FPS? So you can select 1440p, and this is actually something that's kind of cool. You can do uncompressed video with Facecam 4K at 4K 30 or 1440p 60. Now, what uncompressed means is basically that the camera is not applying any video compression in camera. Like it's sending the feed as uncompressed as it gets to your computer. What that means is two things. One, lower latency, and also just higher video quality. You can then use your, that feeds into OBS, and you can, it'll perform the compression when you're recording or when you're streaming, or also if you just feed it into apps, it's a little bit higher quality. So that works up to 1440p 60. HDR is going to work up to 4K 30, and it has to be at 30 FPS. The reason why is that the way that HDR works, and I think I explained that a little bit earlier, um, HDR takes one image, second image, basically higher exposure, lower exposure, and kind of morphs them together like that. And well, what happens when you have, 60 FPS, two images, and take half of 60 FPS, you get 30. And so that's why it's at 30 FPS. Um,
Uh,
yeah.
I see a comment from Potaro AM. My webcam just broke too, so sick. Yeah, this webcam honestly is super cool with with its filter. I'm so like I think it's like the only webcam with filters. You can install a filter. It's super exciting. I would like Phil if you could pull up that video that shows off the filters. It's been
Oh
a
yeah,
while.
let's do that.
I'd like to show chat the filters. So keep in mind, this webcam, you can install filters onto this webcam. So this is like such a cool upgrade that we haven't seen in any other webcam yet. So it's super awesome. Like that's what I'm most excited about, honestly. Like I was like, I didn't even when I saw this that we're making this, I'm like, oh yeah, that's sick. As a videographer. Yeah. So you can install any third party filters on here if as long as it's 49 millimeters. So there's a bunch of different filters. This demo is just a few filters that exist. So if you guys are interested in a new webcam, this one is like a game changer. I think it's super cool looking. Not
Yep.
only like the actual webcam, but the results you're gonna get from it.
Yep, and it really lets you fine tune that image to one that you want to have. If you've got a lot of RGB in your background, you're trying to, your aesthetic on your content is a little bit more kind of ethereal and magical, then, use a diffusion filter there. And it's going to give you that effect and do it really, really well because, well, it's the real thing. It's actually taking that light and diffusing it on the filter itself. Whereas if you want, those almost like lens flares in there or streaks, you can do that. If you want to zoom in a little bit, you can get a macro lens. If you want that ultra wide, you can get ultra wide lens or ultra wide filter. So yeah, lots of different options there. And let's see. I thought I saw a question. Oh yeah, there was one about prompter. Does it work with prompter? It does work with prompter. And so there's a couple ways you can do it. One, um, you can use the universal backplate on prompter. Now, the universal backplate is one where you basically put the Facecam 4K on your prompter, and then you have some cloth and you just cover it. That's one way. The second way is that you 3D print your own backplate, and check this out. Something that we've done is we actually put the prompter backplate, the 3D files, on Elgato Marketplace. So if I pull it up here, I can show you guys how that works. If you go to let's see. There we go. So we have here Elgato Marketplace. You'll head over to 3D print files, and then I think right now it's actually at the bottom. Or if you sort by recent, it'll show up. But yeah, here's the 3D print file. Just sign in, then download. You'll get the file, and then you can 3D print it on your own 3D printer, or maybe a friend has one, or maybe there's even an online shop where you can, send the file and then get it from them. The other option is to just wait. We are working on, getting our own backplates made, and then you can get them from our store. That might still take a little bit longer. So yeah, if you need a backplate today, 3D printing is gonna be the fastest. Of course, if you have a prompter, then just use the shroud there. That absolutely works well. It's not gonna be as clean just because you have that piece of cloth over the camera, but that'll work until, you could get a back plate. So, yeah. Alright. Oh!
And I'm back. Hello, everyone.
Welcome back, Jasmine.
So thank you, thank you. So this is currently what I'm using, Facecam 4K, and this is my model, my 2.0 model right here. So tracking is very, very smooth. As you guys can see, I can make a very shocked face, like,
That's when we tell you that Facecam 4K is a 4K 60 webcam that supports 49mm lens filters. My
so
face
this is
when
the Facecam 4K tracking, yes. Yeah, great rigging. So shout out to Blinky Blanc. She is my best friend. Also, this is her first model she ever made. First art and rigging as well. She did them
Wow,
both.
that's really
First time.
impressive.
It's really, really awesome. Yes. So yeah, you guys can see how this works. So I am using Facecam 4K right now. This is currently what I'm doing. I can make lots of faces here, so I can be like super shocked, like or like I can give you guys
No.
side eyes. I can give Phil the side eyes.
Dang, that's crazy. Me when I'm not using Facecam 4K at 4K 60 with 49mm lens filters.
Yes.
Super
So
cool.
no, I love it. I love it. It's really great. I love VTubing. So VTubers in chat, rise up, rise up. So sweet. Let me go ahead and find. Was it get back to the questions because I know we have a ton of questions left
Mhm.
too. Let me see. This is a question from Sammy Spree. Is there any kind of creator you wouldn't recommend this camera for?
So, like, I work in marketing. It's kinda my job to recommend you cameras. Um, no, but, on a more serious note, if you are in a very dark environment, like here, if I turn off my key lights, like let's say I'm gonna turn off my, one of my key lights here. That's a kind of okay-ish. But if I turn off both and like this is my typical setup, Facecam 4K is probably not the one for you. You really wanna make sure you have good lighting here. It could be, just lights in front of you, either from a room lights, overhead lights. Of course, what's always best is lights that are pointed at you, like key lights, and then Facecam 4K is gonna look best. If you don't have those lights, then I would definitely suggest checking out some of our other cameras, like the Facecam Mark II, for example, or if you can, there's always the Facecam Pro that will perform better in low light situations for sure. But outside of that, it's like, I mean, do you want a good 4K 60 camera? Do you want something that looks really good color wise? Do you want the features in Camera Hub and all that Mano control? Well, hey, then Facecam 4K is for you.
Sweet. See. Next question is from Nandi Cosplay. They're asking, do I have to use virtual webcam to use the filters? I find my virtual webcam lagging whenever I use it, so I haven't been using LUTs or the NVIDIA Blur with the other Elgato webcams.
Yes, you do need to use the virtual webcam. We are working on improvements to that. I would say in the meantime, definitely hit up our support team. LUTs shouldn't require like LUTs are very, very low resource usage. I mean, to the point where you don't really notice it, or shouldn't. And the background blur and effects, those use a little bit more of your NVIDIA RTX GPU, but even then it shouldn't be stuttering. Definitely, like I said, reach out to our support team. They can help you out. And, we are also working on improvements there all the time.
There was a question from Supreme, who asked, "Why was it cut off?" Referring to the lens filter size. Why was it cut off to 49 filter thread and not 50 millimeters? Just curious. Yeah. So the 49 millimeter filter thread is a kind of universal popular size for a filter. If you know DSLR cameras, they all have different sized filters on the end. And some of the common sizes are 49, 52, 58, 67, and 72, 77, and 82. There's a bunch of them. But those are the specific kind of common filter thread sizes you're going to get. So 49 millimeters is just one of the popular ones that a lot of manufacturers make filters for. And then that's also why in our kit with the prompter, you're going to find lens adapters in the same sizes like 49, 52. Those specific numbers has nothing to do with um, it being an even or odd number. It's just a common number for manufacturers.
That's actually a great question, Sean. If I wanted to use a different, and I genuinely don't know because I'm not a I'm not a pro photographer. Um, if I wanted to use a different sized lens, could I buy like a adapter that, converts from 49 to 55 or something like that?
Yeah, you're referring to a filter.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Sorry.
yeah, so if you already have a filter size, maybe you do photography and your lens that you do photography with is a 72 or 57 55 filter thread or 52 millimeter filter thread. There is something called a step up ring that you can install onto Facecam 4K. It's a step up ring that converts your filter and the thread that you're like installing the filter onto. So if you have the Facecam 4K, it is a 49 millimeter filter thread, but you can install or just screw on a step up ring, and that has another mount on it that is a, let's say, a 52 millimeter filter thread, and then you can install your 52 millimeter filter onto that onto your camera. So in some cases, if you already have filters for like your camera gear, um, this you can buy a step up ring. They're pretty cheap. They're like $10 to $15. There's a bunch of manufacturers for those. You can install it onto your Facecam 4K and then throw a filter on there. Or let's say maybe there's a deal going on and you found like a 55 millimeter filter that's cheaper than a 49 for some reason. Maybe you just buy the step up ring. I don't know. There's but that might help. If you have the filters already, that's what I would recommend. It still works. You can buy an adapter that will make it work for the webcam. So it's just a cool little thing that people might not know exists. You don't have to spend another $50 on a filter. You can just buy a step up ring, so you can have it for your camera and your webcam.
Lady Vic says, plot twist, Elgato plot twist teaching you how to do photography or cinema. Yeah, absolute cinema.
So real quick, I also want to
Definitely.
answer I want to read Semi Spree's question, or was it message? They said that I was initially asking because I didn't know if it really made sense for VTubers. I can see now that works great. So the thing is, for a VTubing, your number one camera that you always want to use for tracking, for the best tracking, is hands down always an iOS device. So I just want to make that very clear: is that that is still the best way to get the best tracking that you would like. However, if you're like me and you don't own an iOS device and you don't want to get one or spend money on an iOS device, then I would recommend Elgato's webcams. So either Facecam Mark II or Facecam 4K, because I've been using, for my tracking personally, on all my personal streams, I've also been using Facecam Mark II. Also because I really love the privacy shutter that it has on board. So that is one of my favorite features of Facecam Mark II. But otherwise, yeah, if you don't own an iOS device or you're worried about, your phone heating up or if that's an issue, because I do know that there are some issues where iPhones do heat up really fast if you do long streams. So sometimes it might heat up too much where your model has to, it stops, it goes EP mode, right? If
I'm
you're
sorry,
VTuber, you know what
it
that
goes what?
means.
It goes what mode?
EP mode,
It goes
EP mode.
eep?
So, yeah, it goes basically when you lose tracking. Here, watch. I'm gonna lose tracking, right? If I lose tracking, EP mode.
You just
Oh,
disconnected
that's
from the matrix. You're like, "Oh, I gotta hook back in."
Yeah, yeah. So basically, that's pretty much it. Yeah. So yeah, EP mode, EP mode. But that's why, like, if you also use a webcam, then I recommend upgrading, because the thing is, what's really nice is that you get a quality webcam for streaming, or for VTubing, but also for, like, professional usage. So if you work full time and you have to use like your camera for work and stuff like that, then it's really great for that, or for school, and they don't allow you to become a VTuber or something, whatever, or you don't want to, dox yourself because you're a VTuber, then you get to use these webcams, and you already saw the quality of it before during the stream. Sean's using it, Phil's using it, I'm using it, so it's a really great way to, like, also take selfies or do cooking streams, for example, right? So there's a lot of, like, different use cases as well, that you weren't able to use with other webcams that don't offer this quality and features that we do. So, but yeah, that's my little take on that too. Oh, that's perfect. Semistry says that my webcam is in dire need of replacement. Super appreciate additional details. Yes, of course. And obviously, there's like a lot of like nitty gritties that we can get into when it comes to VTubing as well, like such as your rigging sometimes does matter too, right? So like the rigging that's done will determine, like, how well your tracking will be, lighting sometimes as well, and all that stuff. But Semi Speed, I've seen your model before. I know you. We stopped by your stream before, so this was really cute. I love what you did the model. But I also know I remember that you stopped by the Off-Kai Expo booth, but I missed you. I was talking to someone else, so you handed to your card to someone else. But I do remember your name. Very memorable. But see, of that being said, we do have like a lot of other questions here
Should we rapid
too.
fire some
So
for like the next 10 minutes and
yes.
then maybe we do the giveaway and stuff like that?
Yeah. I was gonna
What do you
say,
think, chat?
do you guys want me to stay in my VT perform or do you guys want me to go back to my real life? Because if so, I'll need to like disconnect again.
You mean your alternate form, right?
My alternate form, you know? Yeah, my alternate form.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah.
Let me see.
I think it's
Okay.
fine for now. Sean and I are we can demo the camera. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Then sweet. Let's see. Next question is gonna be from Infinite. I'm new to the world of webcams. Would you say this is a beginner friendly good first purchase?
Um if you're just getting into webcams or looking for one, I guess I would probably ask a question like, "What are you looking to do with it?" Because Facecam 4K will require a decent setup with some good lighting in there. It'll absolutely work great if you have good lighting, and if you are also able to spend 5 or 10 minutes to maybe tweak your settings a little bit to get them to where you want. The out of the box automatic settings are already great. However, it's going to look even better and perform even better if you tweak settings yourself. So, like, is it the absolute best if if this is kind of the first time you're looking at webcams? Maybe not. I think there's other options that might be interesting, like the Facecam Neo or the Facecam Mark II. But if you're up for the challenge, absolutely get the Facecam 4K. We've got some great videos on guides online. There's tons of content out there, and learn all about cameras and how to look best. Yeah.
Awesome. See. Next question is gonna be no, sorry, I was just reading chat here. So Lee is asking Facecam Neo or Facecam Mark II?
Ooh, Sean, what are your thoughts? Facecam Neo or Facecam Mark II?
Facecam Neo or Facecam Mark II? I have a okay. This is unrelated to camera quality. I just have a bias. I really like Facecam Neo design. I really like how it looks on my webcam on the monitor. I think it looks really clean. But in terms of quality, there's a big difference between Facecam Neo and Facecam Mark II. You're going to be getting. I mean, I think they're both 1080p webcams, so
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty good. Um, but it really depends on just I would say your budget and what you're looking for kind of, aesthetically. I think one of them is comes in black, one of them comes in white. They both do 1080p. I, will need to do a quick search. I don't really know the frame rates. Are they both
Both are
is one
1080p
of them
60. Yeah.
1080 60? Yeah, so, um,
It comes
Phil,
down to
I
the
don't know if you
quality
can
mostly.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you wanna go into the depths of the quality.
Yeah, there's just quality and budget, right? Facecam Neo is going to be our more entry level webcam, and then Facecam Mark II is a step above that with things like just better image processing, better colors, HDR support, which actually I think both of them have HDR support. But really, where it matters is the colors and just kind of the overall video. There's a lot more that goes into it, like the sensor size, the actual center that's being used, the ISP as well. But yeah, in the end, it just comes down to the color and the sharpness and the detail in the video. What's really cool though about these webcams are their cameras. After all, it's video, so you can just go on YouTube. You can look around. You can find people making videos with the Neo, with the Mark II, and then check out there and see which quality you like more, or which colors you like more, kind of which one speaks to you. Design is certainly a huge part of it as well. I mean, there's something to be said for having a setup that you are proud of, that you like, and if it matches your aesthetic, there's something to that as well. So yeah. But couple things to consider.
I guess but first before we continue answering questions, I do wanna ask real quickly, did we go over everything we needed to go over for Facecam 4K?
Chat, did we go over everything we needed to go over? I think so.
I think we did, but I'm just double checking, make sure if there's anything else we want to mention, just in case we haven't missed it, because we've been answering questions, which is great. Keep the questions coming. We love it. And that's what
Uh,
we're here for.
We talked about all the different camera hub features. We talked about the hardware. We talked about what you get inside, effects.
I
It
see
works with
one thing.
prompter. Stream Deck.
Jasmine, do you see one thing?
One thing? I don't know if I see
I
one thing.
oh,
But we
it
can mention Stream Deck. Yes, actually, that's what we're using earlier. That's what I was using earlier. Where you can actually set up Facecam 4K just like other webcams and control it via Stream Deck too. I was controlling my Facecam 4K with Stream Deck Plus dials, so that's how I was zooming in, panning, tilting. So there's a lot that you can do with Stream Deck. Phil, if you want to showcase like what you can, like the options and abilities that you can do really quickly
I will try.
while you
Let's
set up.
see.
Sean, what were you saying?
okay, in our notes here, we have mentioning about wait, I'm just gonna send this to you. I wanna make sure.
Yo, chat. Are they sending secret messages? Why don't they go to the front of the class and, share it with the whole class? All right. But yeah, while they're doing that, I can talk about Stream Deck. So of course, here we have Camera Hub, and then we have Stream Deck over here. And this is I've got a Stream Deck Plus connected here. I've got a bunch of different Stream Decks. And yeah, if you want to do things like changing well, first of all, you need the Camera Hub plugin, and then you can control a bunch of your settings. For example, you can set, for example, the zoom level or the pan or the frame preset. Earlier we set up those presets A and B. So I can go here, maybe preset A, and then I'm going to copy that, paste it. We'll go to preset B. And now on my Stream Deck Plus, all I have to do is tap, and look at that. It's moving between the two presets there. It shows you which ones are active, so that's super nice. Man, you guys are blowing up my messages. That's crazy. You can also do things like just have a display for a property. So for example, let's say you are on automatic exposure and you just want to keep an eye on your ISO to make sure it doesn't get too high. You can set that up there as well, and it literally just shows you the ISO. That's it. You can turn on and off effects like your orientation, eye contact, or face tracking. You can toggle between different LUTs here. Look at that. That's a familiar face. We've got, True Tone. So I can go in here and then again on the Stream Deck Plus, I can tap between. And of course, it's Stream Deck, right? So what I'm showing you, these keys, this works with every Stream Deck model. It's not just the Stream Deck Plus. This also works with the Stream Deck XL, Stream Deck Mark II, Stream Deck Mark II with scissor keys. And then, of course, there's dials too. Now, dials get really interesting because, sure, what you can do is you can set up a zoom in and out function. So here, if I set up these two keys, I could do a vertical slider. Let's do property. Let's do zoom here. This one's always fun, right? So I go in here, set up slider vertical. We'll go to zoom. And then we'll set this one to -5%. And I'm actually going to flip these. There we go. And plus, oh, -5%, +5%. Now check this out. As I tap on this key, it's going to zoom in, right? So that's nice. But if you have a dial, then you might as well just use that. And so you can put a dial on. Actually, let me turn off the LUT here. You can set up a dial action for any one of these. So, adjust camera. Can again choose which camera you use. I have, two connected right now. I'll use zoom here, maybe set up my step size to 2x, and now I can simply turn the dial and zoom in. But of course, you can also do this with panning and tilting. So if I want to switch over to, I can almost create like an etch-a-sketch if y'all remember what that is. I might be dating myself here a little bit, but I could set this to pan and then this one to tilt. And now using two hands, I can go in and I can, move the camera around in my setup like that with the Stream Deck Plus dials. So yeah, there's a really great Stream Deck integration here. Of course, the plugin you install from Marketplace. So if I open my browser here, you'll just in Stream Deck head over to Elgato Marketplace, and then you can search for Elgato well, I'm already on there, so just Camera Hub, and then hit open in Stream Deck, and you'll be good to go. So yeah, that is that's Stream Deck. Are you guys ready? Can we show the class?
Oh,
Can
yeah.
you show the class?
I
Okay,
Okay.
I just
okay,
want
okay,
Okay.
okay. We had to make
confirmation.
sure that we didn't leak too much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so as I was saying, I just have a little note here that that says that Facecam 4K will eventually be coming in 2 different colorways. So just keep an eye out for that. There's no more information I could share. That's all the note said. Okay, it says 2 okay, Phil, what is Phil, why are you giving me that face? Phil, it's in the note doc, okay?
I don't remember based on the Prime Day streams, I
Okay.
don't read notes. I don't look
Well,
at
maybe I
docs.
just leaked it. Who knows? I don't know. Okay. Phil looking
Okay.
like I just
Okay. Anyways. So we also want to mention the packaging. How there's no plastic. If you want to go ahead and hold up the packaging for us, Sean. So if you guys didn't know that, we've been pushing for sustainability and we're making sure that, our packaging are, no, that there's no plastic. And this packaging is made from over 60% post-consumer recycled plastic, which helps to divert waste from like our landfills and like water sources. So you guys can feel good about, your choice from day one. And this goes to
So
all of our packaging here.
don't throw it in the trash, right? Throw it in, put it in recycling.
Yes, correct.
Yep, here's just a slight unboxing. I already opened up the camera, obviously it's not in here, but it's we got a little pamphlet here with Elgato and got the webcam and then the plate that you put on your monitor right here.
And then the
And it just comes in
USB-C
a
to
little
C
nice box.
cable as well.
And the cable. And the cable, yes.
Which I'm so happy that this camera and actually most of our products now, they're all shipping with C2C cables. Guys, it's actually happening. That dream they told us
Woo!
about in like what, 2010 about we're gonna have one cable standard, one connector. It's crazy. I can go traveling right now with my MacBook and I have one charger and that charger charges my Switch 2, the MacBook. I can use the same cable to actually also, it's a USB 3 cable. I can use my USB-C SSDs. I can connect my Facecam 4K. One cable, USB-C. It's awesome.
Woo, let's go.
Yeah, thank you, EU,
All
for that.
right,
Absolutely.
let's see. Next question. I'm trying to see. There's a lot of like repeat questions here, so I'm trying to make sure that we don't go over too many repeats here.
Chat, you guys need to
Uh,
coordinate a little bit better. All right. Get in a huddle, talk about what questions you want to ask. It's like the genie. You got 3 questions. Pick
so
your
I think
pick your most valuable
I saw
ones.
a few questions that were saying that basically, let's see, let's bring this one up. This is from Sheezy. Aren't most people still streaming in 1080? And you know, they're wondering
As
like how many
our
people are actually streaming in 4K.
Yeah, I mean, we're streaming in 1080p. We wanted to stream at 4K, but due to other reasons that didn't happen today. Yeah, most people are going to stream at 1080p or, in some cases even lower. As I said earlier in the stream though, if I don't know if you were around then, but uh, when you start with higher quality video, it's a little bit like cooking. If you start with you're making pasta and you got super old, sauce and, your pasta is super stale, all that stuff, like it's not going to be great. However, and you could put as much love into it as you want. But however, if you, get fresh pasta sauce, heck, you make your own, you get some fresh pasta, maybe even you make your own, right? And then it's going to taste even better. It's a little bit like that with video. The higher your video quality is that you start with, the better your end result is going to be, even if you're taking something like, say, 4K video and squeezing that down to 1080p. Because what you get from that is just generally more detail out of the camera, even at 1080p. The other part is that due to the ISP on here and the sensor, you just get much better colors, right? You get that really nice, and yeah, sorry if I made anyone hungry. I'm hungry. You get really nice colors out of the camera. And again, those contribute to having really great image quality. So yeah, we're not streaming at 4K. I think the majority of folks out there aren't streaming at 4K. That's just the reality. Also, given internet bandwidth and all that fun stuff, computer processing power. But starting with a 4K camera, you're going to get better image quality overall. If you're recording to your computer and if you're recording, might be a podcast, might be like just a vlog from home or just content in front of your computer, maybe a computer, like an explainer video, a lot like what, myself, Sean, and Jasmine actually do. Then Facecam 4K, you'll want that highest quality, and that's what 4K is good for. So there's plenty of reasons to have a 4K camera, even if you're not using it at 4K. I think what it's there's like 16K cameras out there, and in the movies they'll record on those, but obviously when you go to a movie theater, you're watching kind of like the 4K, or it's the what cinema DCI 2K version, something like that. Anyways, speaking
I
of,
also just wanna mention real quick.
yeah,
So for questions, just a heads up, we do have 38 questions queued up. So your questions are not being skipped. I see some repeat questions. Please only ask a question once it is in the queue. We are getting there. So just we ask for your patience, please. There is literally 38 questions in the queue right now. Sorry, Phil, go ahead.
yeah. Oh yeah, there was questions about, and I've seen a number of these come up around like the color formats that Facecam 4K outputs. So it's going to be 8-bit 420 or 8-bit 422, depending on if you are using, at a lower resolution, you can use that uncompressed video. So you can use like YUY2, which is a 422. So at that point, that's like what, 1080p 60. I think you can also 1440p 30 maybe. I know 1440p 60 is NV12 420. If you don't know what this means, don't worry about it. If you do know what this means, then now you know. And at 4K 60, because it's USB 3.0, you can't send 4K 60 video over USB 3.0 uncompressed. So at that point, it actually converts it to MJPEG. So what you're getting at 4K 60 is MJPEG. Um, and below that, you can use uncompressed video, which is great.
Sweet. I think let's go ahead and start like going through these questions as quickly as possible because it is getting a little bit close to ending time. But I do want to mention that we will be having a Discord Q&A planned sometime as well. So if there's any questions that we don't get through, feel free to come to our Discord Q&A where we can go ahead and do some more live demos and show you guys was answer your questions there as well. So join our Discord because that is where we will be announcing the next Q&A, Discord Q&A. So it'll be a lot more personalized too. So you guys get to have fun and we tend to go through questions. It's mainly just like a Q&A. Everything is just there. So if you guys have participated in one before, you guys know the drill. Um, so
All
let's
right, should we do
see.
these like rapid fire style, as in like yes, no, maybe answers?
Yes, yes, let's let's do that. Let me
Should you
see.
get it? Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Does it look good? Yes. Do you get 4K video?
Alright, this is
Yes.
from WST. They're saying my coworker says that he prefers watching TV in 720 or less because he can't see imperfections on actors' faces. Can the camera achieve similar results?
Boy, I have thoughts, but also sure. I mean, you can set Facecam 4K down to 540p if you want to, so below 720p. If that's really what you want to do, then yes, you can do that.
And next question is from Sweet. Can we see this camera tracking on another person?
I
Um,
don't
Unfortunately,
think so.
I do not have a NVIDIA graphics card at this time or any things that will let me do the tracking on my device. I have a Ryzen graphics card, and you need an NVIDIA broadcast. So unfortunately, I can't do the tracking today. But
I'll say,
yeah,
Sweet, come to our Discord Q&A when that happens, and we can definitely showcase it on everyone who does have an NVIDIA broadcast or NVIDIA GPU. So that'll be for a different time here because at the moment we are not able to show that.
Did I sign up for that?
Uh,
Am I on that?
well, you probably will be, yeah.
Look at that. She's like, yeah. All right, we
I'm
got to
probably
get
gonna
back to
yoink you.
questions.
See, next question is from Jay. They're asking, we're all using the new Facecam, correct? Yes, we are all currently using Facecam 4K. Next question is from Swirling Dragon Miss. What color space standards does it meet?
Yeah, Rec 709 and yeah, 709, just
yeah.
standard, standard definition color space. Yeah.
And then next question from Toxna. Compared to last gen's 4K webcam, is there a video comparing the two webcams quality next to one another? Because I currently own a Facecam Pro that I actually got gifted from you guys for the Black Friday stream.
Oh, you're set then. You're all good. Don't even worry about it, unless you want to give us more money. But yeah, what you can do is you can just go on YouTube and go on our YouTube channel. We have two videos. We have a quality sample, or basically a quality showcase for Facecam 4K and for Facecam Pro. Since you have one though, you can of course just check it out yourself. But yeah, no, I think with the Facecam Pro, you're all set. Yeah.
All right, and then let's see. Next question is from also Swirling Dragon Mist. Can this take attached 49 lens or just filters?
It's just filters, but there is the wide angle like type of attachment filters that are also sometimes called lens filters, but they're filters. So not lenses, not like 40. No, you cannot install a camera filter or camera lens. Sorry, a camera. You cannot install a camera lens onto the webcam.
Big,
Um,
well, hang on. Big disclaimer. Very like, huge disclaimer. Fills the whole window. You could,
Okay.
in theory, attach a lens if you wanted to using step-up rings and all of that fun stuff, but the Facecam 4K, you know, if you get anything that's a little bit longer and heavier, it's gonna fall, right? So, you need to put it on either a tripod or something like that, and potentially again, big disclaimer, do not try this at home. You may also need to support the lens itself because I don't know how much weight you can put on the front of the camera. You know, a filter is a really small little thing, it's very light, but if you put an actual lens on there that's heavy and, then you get, those forces on there, I don't know if it'll support that. So, again, don't try that
So
at
yeah,
home.
I'll say if you're thinking about something like a 49 millimeter uh, wide angle lens filter adapter, that does exist. We have it on our video on our YouTube channel. So go check that out. It's called the wide angle attachment, but it is technically a filter. It is not a camera lens. So
You might
All
void
right.
your warranty, son. Absolutely.
All right. My mic should sound better. I saw someone mentioning that my mic sounded bad in comparison to you guys. Should be fine now.
I mean,
I do
everyone's
not.
got slightly different sound. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's okay.
sounds fine. Yeah.
Sounds fine. Mhm, yeah.
That's the first because usually people always compliment me on my mic, especially when I play
Oh,
Valorant in the
alright.
game.
Chill,
Always,
dog,
always.
chill, chill.
Oh,
All right, let me see. Next question is gonna be from T-Pain. Does the Neo have the ability to save presets on camera though?
It does. Yes. That's a yes answer.
All right, sweet. And then next question would be from Basil Day. Let's see. Based on 4K looking really good. Does Sean have the mist filter on?
no, I did not have the black mist filter on. I had responded to that message letting them know that yeah, I'm not using any filter right now. My skin might just be glowing because it's hot in here. I was I don't have the AC on unfortunately, so I was getting a little hot earlier. But thank you. I take it as a compliment. The mist, the glowiness. I appreciate it.
It's just steaming in his room.
It's just steaming in his room.
It's just hot.
All right, next question from Kampa. Any overheating issues found during Q&A or QA? QA.
No, because if we did, we would not be selling this camera, and we would be fixing that and then selling this camera. So, no, there's no overheating issues. In fact, on the back of the camera, we have a 360 rotation on the product page. You can see, what it, you can see there's like, fil why am I blanking? Air,
Vents,
air
vents.
vents. Thank you, that one.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, somebody was asking earlier actually about if they had air vents. So yes, I believe there are air vents on the back, like
Yeah.
visible vents.
Yeah, we do our testing is extensive, right? We'll do things like 24-hour, 48-hour on, at 4K 60, making sure that it's, not just that the camera can support it, but even that outside hot to the touch, that it doesn't get hot to the touch, you can still handle it, all of that fun stuff. So yeah, oh, there's extensive testing done.
All right, next question is going to be from Lee. Let's see. What about delay difference between compressed and uncompressed?
There is a slightly larger delay with compressed video with MJPEG. In most cases, it's not that noticeable. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's maybe 100 milliseconds more, something like that. But when you're live streaming, when you have video, audio, all that stuff, like it's not enough to the point where someone's really going to call it out or notice it. I doubt you might notice it if you check for it.
All right, sweet. And then this is such a nice comment. They said, Soldier said, definitely appreciate when you all do these streams showcasing stuff and use them too.
Yeah, a quick note on I know it said yes, no, maybe. This is one of those like, well, maybe answers. It's something we really strive for at Elgato. If you've paid attention to any of our camera or, really any product releases for that matter, the prompter, but specifically the cameras, the microphones, we're going to use our own gear and show it off. And we're going to put that on the website, put that on YouTube. That is what it is. That is the quality, that's what you're gonna get. You basically, you're that's what you see or that's what you hear. There's no, like, faking it or, we're gonna record with the DSLR and then, maybe tweak the colors and say, "Look, that's a webcam." Like, no, come on. Um, Others do that, by the way. There are rather large companies that do still to this day do that, where they try to basically pass off footage or audio from, different devices as their own, I mean, that's basically just straight up lying. I'm not going to name names or anything like that, but there are companies that do that. Um, and what's the point? If you're proud if you're proud of your product, if you're proud of the thing that you built, and it's a good product, show it off. I mean, that's what we're doing right now, right? Use it, show it off. There's no better way to well, frankly, there's no better way to market a product than by using it.
All right. I think we have a few more questions left that we can answer. I've saw a lot of questions in regards to like the comparison between Facecam 4K and Facecam Pro, Facecam Mark II, Facecam Neo. So everything you need to know between these will be in these articles here that I just sent the commands in. So make sure you go check out those articles. We're trying to like speed through everything at the moment now. So this is probably your best bet to get the information that you need. There is also the overview video here as well. So everything you need to know about for Facecam 4K. Here are the specs here and the webpage where you can go ahead and purchase Facecam 4K as well.
If you just happen to feel like it.
Yeah, so I'm like bombarding you guys with a lot of commands here that we made, but these are really amazing Explorer articles made by James, Phil, and his team. Brett, like it's really great, very informational. So any technical questions you may have, they should all be in the article. If not, then stay tuned for our next Discord Q&A that will be planned and announced sometime, maybe in like a few weeks or so, and we'll answer your questions then.
All right, 2 more questions and then the giveaway?
Yep. So I guess let's go and start the giveaway now, and then we'll
Oh.
answer 2 questions to give them some time to enter. So let me see.
What's the keyword? 4K 60, 49 millimeter, lens filter. What do we do? Filter
I was
thread,
kind of, I was kind of, I was kind of thinking we could do like a fun keyword,
cube. I think I
Yeah,
saw that
yeah,
earlier.
cube.
Chat
Oh,
was
yeah.
I
like
was thinking
Rubik's cube.
cube. Okay, don't type it yet though, guys. Hold. I'm gonna change the keyword if you guys don't hold.
Hold.
Hold. It's not ready yet.
Chat. Pause.
Pause. Time out.
I'm playing my timeout card.
The giveaway has not started yet. It's not started yet. Pause, chat. Hold. I need to set the giveaway for you guys, okay?
Oh, they're saying I
I
should
need to
hold the
set.
cube.
Oh,
Hold.
God. Keywords. Hold
Like I'll show
cube.
the cube. I'll show the cube.
Sean, show me the
Look
cube.
at
Oh
the
my
colors.
God. I
Look at the
was just-
colors, guys. I feel like I'm like hallucinating, or what do you call it? I forget the word.
Hallucinating?
I'm putting chat in a trance right
Facecam
now with
4K.
showing them the colors. Look at the colors, guys. Look at the colors.
Buy Facecam 4K.
Cube. Yeah,
Hypnotizing.
There you go. Hypnotizing. That's what I meant to say. Yep.
Dashboard.
Look at the colors, guys.
Okay, hold on. I'm setting this up, guys. Setting this up.
And so
Almost
what
ready.
can you win if you win this giveaway? Like,
One Facecam 4K. There will be one lucky winner.
that's awesome.
All right, guys. It's ready. It is ready. It's time. Enter the giveaway. Make sure to read the terms. If you guys are on YouTube, make sure you come over to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Elgato. This is where the giveaway is happening. You must be in Twitch chat. And make sure to read the terms as well. If you guys are not following the Elgato Twitch channel, hit that follow button right now. Because if you're not following, if you're not following by the time you draw your name, we're re-rolling for a new winner. And it has happened before, unfortunately. So this is your chance. You have a lot of time. Hit that follow button. It's in the terms. I'm verbally saying it, so do it.
It's we live stream every week. We'll have community folks on. We'll do takeovers where partners come on. We do a lot of these types of informational streams as well. So it's usually a good time to just hang out here. And we also, can I say this? Like usually you'll see or hear early information that nobody else hears or sees. So make sure you stick around. And also, boys, seeing all this cube. The only thing I can think about when someone says cube is in Transformers, the first one, where he's like, Sam, I must find the cube. I can't
Yeah,
do the
also,
voice.
you guys only type it once. I see some people spamming cube. It's only one entry per person, so you don't need to spam it because that's not going to help you. I have always thought about this though. When it comes to giveaway, is making it so if you double type the keyword in, it will disqualify you.
That
that'll
would be wild. All right.
Maybe we can do that for April
That's
Fools. We can do that.
crazy.
Maybe maybe on April Fool's Day, if we do have a stream for April Fools, I will notify. I will let you guys know in advance. I have not done this to you guys before. All right, just has it has not happened before, but if it does, I think that'd be a good one for like a hee hee ha ha April Fool's moment, but not actually April Fools. You know what
What
I
what
mean?
if what if you actually make it a little bit more? There's a keyword, if you type it in, you get removed. So you don't type the keyword. And of course, chat ain't gonna listen because y'all don't listen and is gonna type in the keyword. It's like, don't type the keyword. There's
Oh my god,
yeah, gotta
you should
confirm
do
true.
that. Well, it's like,
Mhm.
I just want to make sure you guys are aware of it first. I don't just want to like, set the setting and then you guys don't know and you guys spam it, right? Because sometimes people forget, right? They're like, did I already type it or did I not, right? So they type again just for like good measures, right? So it's like, unless, I'd rather let you guys know in ahead of time before like, just like, hi guys, if you guys type it twice, that means you're disqualified. Sucks, you know?
We l we listen most, yeah. Alright. I think
Okay, so let's go.
everyone,
We have two questions. Two questions. So
oh, right,
let's
2
see.
questions.
Yes, this is from Infinite. They're asking, the real question is, will this camera capture my cats in beautiful 4K because I want to show them off to the world?
Sean, you have to answer that one.
Yes, the cats will be shown off in beautiful 4K, and you can do it to the whole world using Facecam 4K. Or yeah, yep. There
Neat.
you go.
Mhm.
I also have 3
Uh,
cats, but they're not in the room right
oh,
now.
All right, next question is from Matt. So this is gonna be last question. So they're asking, so when I look at this camera, I see it does have the mount for top of a monitor. So is there any way to adjust angle or position when mounted on your monitor?
Yes. So the mount itself so this is your monitor here. The mount kind of sits like this and holds onto it, and then you can still do this type of rotation. So tilt and rotation. You can do that for the camera. So it's very flexible, very easy. Frankly, it's weird, but when it comes to monitor mounts, I feel like we've nailed it at this point. Some cameras still give you ones that are like fixed, or you can't do a certain angle, or you have to like move the whole mount. No, ours is really nice. Yeah. Tilt and pan, okay, but is it actually panning or is it well, I guess rotation would be this guy, right? Or is that yawing and then pitching? I don't know.
Yawning,
Yeah.
yawning.
Speaking of, I wanna play some Battlefield. We're gonna see that soon. But okay, I think we got through all
All
the
right.
questions,
Yep,
right?
we have. Well, there's a few other, but we'll answer that during the Discord Q&A. So stay
Or
tuned, join Discord,
ask your
or
questions on Reddit. On Reddit,
there we go. Yeah,
I
go to our Reddit.
am if you guys ever wanna chat with me, little self-promotion here, but if you guys ever wanna chat with me, the place I hang out mostly is on Reddit. So, we have our thread on there right now going on our mega thread for Facecam 4K, also for 4KS, just generally. So if y'all wanna chat with me, my responses, then, let's do it on Reddit. Yeah.
There you go. Otherwise, Discord Q&A, we'll announce it on our Discord. Make sure you go join. We also have like host some exclusive giveaways there from time to time. But before we draw a winner, I just want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we hope you guys enjoyed our Facecam 4K launch. Can we get some Elgato hearts in chat, or hearts in general in chat, for the team, Phil, Sean, and for everyone who's worked really hard during this launch. It was a pretty big launch, lots to do. And we've been launching things back and forth, back to back. If you guys have been here, you guys already knew. Like last week was Dreamscape. The week before that was it Prime Day? Like five was it? It was like no 4 streams back to back throughout all of our regions. And then yeah, it's been wild, guys. It's been very wild. So all the hearts, all the love to team, to community, to all you guys for support. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, with that being said, is there before we draw the winner, is there anything you want to say, Phil or Sean, before we wrap things up?
No, let's get this yap show over with and pull a winner.
Oh,
All right,
yeah,
guys,
thank you.
countdown of
Sorry. Whoa, you didn't
5.
get Sean a
Oh,
chance.
sorry,
Whoa,
Sean.
Sean.
No, I was
sorry, sorry, don't,
I was
don't,
gonna say,
don't.
I said, thank you, chat, for coming to our stream. Yeah, thank you. That's it. That's all.
Woo!
Nice.
All right, Sean, you do a countdown. You do a countdown for Sean.
From 5, right?
Uh-huh.
4, 3, 2, 1.
And the winner
Woo!
What are your
is
cubes in chat?
Shanda
Shanda
the
the Panda.
Shanda the
Panda
Panda.
da Panda. That's a fun name.
That is a
Oh,
great
they're
name.
Is. Oh,
here.
they're here. Alright, let's, double
Congratulations.
check that they're following us here.
Oh,
Let's see if they're following.
Ooh, since February 2024. Okay, let's go.
okay. Over a
Congrats.
year.
Yeah, on winning a Facecam 4K. Just a heads up. Make sure to have your Twitch DMs open. You'll be receiving a DM from Elgato via Twitch DMs.
Nice.
About 30 minutes after the stream ends, give me some time to reach out to you, and we'll proceed from there. So huge congrats, and thank you guys so much for stopping by, everyone. Let's go ahead and find someone to raid here. So let me see. Let me
That
go look for a
zoom.
raider.
Do you guys want one full zoom? Here, we'll do
Do
one.
it.
That's the max zoom.
Let me zoom in.
It's
Wait,
like
my
you're
invite me
looking
yet?
around. Ooh, what can we find? I spy. There's a
How's my
mic.
skin? How's my skincare routine?
Blu-ray collection. I think there's a Droidica hiding right there. Yeah, yeah.
I
All
know who
right.
to start the raid. Alright, we're gonna be raiding with our amazing creators, Night Donator, and they're currently playing
Oh,
Peak. So you guys might have seen some of the content she has made for our was it launches, and they're amazing. So let's go and start this raid up. Alright, guys, raid is starting up now. So we'll see you guys next
thank you so
time.
much, everyone. Have a good
Thank you,
one.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.